Welcome to Balls and Brews, Pod 28. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Not what I was expecting.
Me neither.
What are we drinking on, Chuck?
Pineapple Sultana Hazy IPA. So, it's by Untitled Arts from Wenatchee, Wisconsin. We've definitely drank a couple of their beers on this
That's what I was
pod
gonna ask.
previously. Yep.
I thought we had.
You can tell by the can. We've had
Yep.
a couple of them that are very similar. 7.6%. So, I would say upon first review, it's very juicy.
Very juicy.
Very juicy.
Very juicy.
Hop shine through too. Very odd body. Very like it's good. It's very juicy, which is, I mean, not to
Yeah,
be, I
it
guess.
is. It's hard to say. Like it is very juicy, but it does have like there's something else going on there. I can't quite put my finger on it.
I mean, if it wasn't for the hops, it tastes like a really just a carbonated juice almost.
Yeah, it does. It's like real juicy.
Very juicy.
Like orange juicy almost, right? Like
Pineapple juicy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Pineapple
like
juicy.
the body of this beer, the mouthfeel is
Correct,
much
that.
closer to a juice, which, like, when you hear the word juicy in your IPAs, you're normally just talking about, something that's a little more on the fruit or citrusy flavored side.
Right.
This actual consistent, like,
Yeah,
the
it's like the
mouthfeel is of juice. Yeah,
Yes, that's
like-
what it is. That was the.
So if you like juice,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very good. It's just an odd. I guess we all just said it wasn't exactly what we were expecting.
Totally different.
Coming out of it.
I was not.
But no, I'm gonna enjoy it for sure.
expecting
yeah.
more of that IPA. That's
7.6. I don't know if
subtle.
I mentioned that. So close to an imperial actually. So pretty decent for an alcohol, ABV for a hazy.
So talking about ABVs, what about beer question this week is if you couldn't drink beer for medical reasons or whatnot, or have alcohol for medical reasons, and would you drink non-alcoholic beer to have the flavor of beer, like the Heinekens, the Bud Light YEZZIRs, or whoever makes them nowadays? Would you drink those just to have the flavor of beer?
my answer is a no. And I love the flavor of beer, but the non-alcoholic beers that they have available are very limited, and the flavors that are available, I would just say no thanks.
100% agree. Couldn't agree more. The problem is that there's no drinkable non-alcoholic beverages really that mimic it truly. You can't get anything outside of like a lager or a pilsner, which makes a lot of sense. Like they're the easiest thing to filter out. But
Sure.
It would be nice if you could see a brown or a porter or any sort of ale, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, just some variety for the
Because
people that
even
can't
now,
drink
even
beer.
now, I can drink beer. But if you offered me one of those, I'd still tell you no. At no point do I want to drink, even if I'm just trying to carry on a buzz, and that's like the bridge beer. I'll pass. I'll just wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, non-alcoholic beverages. In that situation where it was like, all right, I can't. I wouldn't. No, pass.
Cool. Let's jump right into it. So
Well, what about you?
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna have it.
You're not gonna drink the Coors Light NA?
No, there's no fucking point.
There you go. All right, Zach.
Most of the time I'm drinking the fucking brewski because I like the flavor, but it's got a little kick. I don't necessarily want it unleaded.
Well, yeah, you don't want you don't want decaf.
No, fuck
The
that.
fuck is
Yeah, same.
I will at least want some kind of kick. Coors
Bro,
Light
what
is-
are we doing?
Yeah. All right. So
Drink
let's
you
jump
the
right
water.
into the. Let's jump right into it. So we named a bunch of games last week to watch. A bunch of top matchups.
There were great games this week. College football, shout out.
So Florida State, number 4, beat Clemson in OT 31-24. It's a good win. I think it's a good win. I couldn't believe that Clemson still wasn't ranked.
Clemson should have had it. Clemson just did not execute at the highest level to close out that game, and their day one kicker that they just brought back or something that week was crazy. Like, they called him, we're like, we're struggling in the kicking game, I want you to come be our kicker. And he went 3 for 3 up until missing what would have been a game leading field goal with under like a minute left.
Yeah. Florida State has got good receivers, but man, they dropped the fucking ball a lot, dude.
Man,
Are they very good? Like, isn't that?
They're They're athletes. They're big. They're physical. They're athletic. But yeah, the hands. They
you gotta
disappeared
have
a little
them.
bit.
You gotta have them.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a good win. I still was surprised going into the game that Clemson wasn't like in like the low 20s, just because they lost.
2-1.
Yeah, just because they lost to Duke and they were number 10 at the beginning of the year, they fall all the way out. And the rankings have kind of been weird this year.
Yeah, they have. I mean, teams have really jumped and moved around.
There's been a lot of movement from top to bottom, that's for sure.
But it is still early, so I guess I'm just trying to figure
Georgia,
it out.
fucking play somebody.
They don't.
God damn, dude.
They
haven't had a good game yet.
They're not gonna. Those two teams aren't gonna make our talking about points until like mid-November. Next big. Well, that's not the Nits. I'm going in the way the order was, but you got number 6 Ohio State beats Notre Dame 17-14. Dude, that was a fucking
on a last
game.
second run up the gut. Yeah,
last second touchdown.
Pretty intense.
Oh man, that game. I thought Hartman was gonna be better.
I did too. I was hoping he was.
Hartman thought Hartman was gonna be better.
Both quarterbacks played all right, but neither had a great performance.
Yeah, I thought Sam Hartman would lead a better drive at the end of the game. I was waiting for him to make a splash, like when they were up 14-7, and they had the ball and they were going down. I was looking for him to close it out, and they didn't.
And Notre Dame's defense played good, had a goal line stand. Marvin Harrison Jr. only 3 receptions after getting hurt.
Yeah.
Did you see how?
I didn't really see what happened.
Yeah, I was kind of lost on how bad the injury was, but he didn't come back after that. Probably the player of the game was Henderson with 14 carries and 104 yards.
Oh, that one scamper that he had, absolutely.
Yeah.
That changed the game. It was a defensive battle, as you just kind of read off, and it's not flashy, but 17-14 is a difficult score to swallow for the common fan. You at least want to see the mid-20s normally, right? Like, that's kind of what you're aiming for, but great game, and like, it's nice to see that it was nice to see defense, it was. Because sometimes you watch these games, and scoring's good too, but a balanced game has got to happen every now and again. So I think that Notre Dame will bounce back from this.
They got a tough game next week, which we'll talk about.
Sure.
Yeah. Come back to that, though.
And then next one down the line, number 7, Penn State rolled Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa's number 24. What was it? 31 to nothing. Dude, Penn State might be for real, dude. And
no,
it's
they
hard to
are
tell.
for real. They're there.
Their quarterback had a 4 touchdown performance, but only 166 passing.
Huh? Is he a runner? I haven't watched any Penn State yet.
I don't think so. He's not much of a runner. Only a sophomore though.
Okay. And then number 10, Oregon stomps Colorado.
Which is so great because that means we didn't necessarily have to lead into this show with, Colorado pulls the upset. Like, welcome back to fucking reality, Colorado, and playing a disciplined program in Oregon that knew what the hell that they were going to be doing at home against a team that is all shine and, not a lot of substance.
Colorado's exciting. They have some nice players, but yes, this is where we thought we were going to see the difference. I didn't even think it was going to be this big. I thought it might be a little closer, but yeah, Oregon was definitely ready, and they showed it. And they're in Oregon. Colorado fell behind early and just got buried.
Before the game started, they threw up a stat. Sanders has been sacked 15 times in the first 3 games, and that wasn't even counting the Oregon game, dude.
Yeah,
their lines, offensive and defensive lines, are not going to hold up against
good
even next week. They have next. We'll talk about it too. They have USC next week, so they could get handled 2 weeks in a row.
No,
So.
they should, unless football. Well, go on that in a little bit.
Number 11 Utah gets a win. Only another 14-7 win against UCLA.
Escape, dude. That was a fucking nail biter.
Dude, it was.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and that's still without Cam Rising.
Yep.
So, wow.
Dude, they're undefeated without him
Utah.
still. I think he's getting pretty close to playing though.
That they keep saying
Sounds like
week
it.
by week kind of thing. So yeah, it'll probably be this week.
Defense really picked up the slack for Utah too. They're playing well.
Dude,
It's
nice to see that you got Utah, SC, and Washington and Oregon all in basically the top 10 now.
Top 12, right? Like
No,
are
okay.
they all in the top
Utah's
two?
in the 10 now.
Now they're in 10. Okay,
So you
excellent.
have Oh wait, where would Oregon be though? I don't know if Oregon is.
Because they were 10. They had moved up to 9
Yeah, so
then?
maybe
Are
they're
they
9 or something. Yeah.
Right,
So,
yeah.
So yeah, you have 4 Pac-12 teams. That's pretty fucking cool, man.
Shout out to a conference that's dissolving, dude. How crazy is that? Like, at least the last year that it's a sovereign fucking conference.
I know,
they're
fucking
coming out
shelling
and-
out, dude.
Yeah, dude. Good, just doing what you got to do.
Next game down the list, Bama defeats Ole Miss. Ole Miss came out and took it down the field and scored, and I was like, oh shit. Jackson Dart might fucking take it to him, and then that was they kicked the field goal later on in the game, and that was it.
Yeah, both quarterbacks had pedestrian performances. So
Bama's not
That
great.
Alabama offense is not good. That defense is gonna be elite. They're gonna only give up 14 to 17, but can that offense even score that every week? That's right on the borderline of what they've been doing, right?
Yeah, 24 this week. Last week was 17.
Their average is somewhere in that low 20s at best. Like, they're not explosive on that side. They're
Nope.
athletic, but not. Football is a game of, there has to be certain intelligence and timing, and that whole side. They don't have it at all. Their timing on offense is awful.
Yeah.
No matter what quarterback we've seen, all three of them have not been great.
They do look bad. They
Yeah.
don't look. They're definitely not the Bama that we've come to realize.
yeah, they're not dominating.
No, they're not dominating bad teams. They're squeaking by. This is a good win here, 24-10. But it wasn't like where they came out and just like fucking put it to them either, And then the only real upset, I guess, in the top 25 matchups was Washington State at 22 beating Oregon in a 35-38 game. Oregon State.
And that final score does not actually emulate how Washington State owned that game.
Oregon State made a nice run at the end.
It was some really desperate times, call for desperate measures at the end of that game for Oregon State, where they put together a couple of things to make it look close, but most of the way through the second half, the Cougars were up by 2 to 3 scores. I think they went up 3 scores at one point.
I thought they were up at 3 scores.
Yeah, they were rolling. So I mean, the final score is indicative of the game sometimes, but I wouldn't say in this one. I would say Washington State was actually unfortunately impressive.
Yeah, Washington State, I would also say their
Cam
quarterback.
Ward?
Yeah,
Cam
Cameron
Ward was fucking crazy.
had one of the best performances on
Had
Saturday.
a 90 some odd percentage completion rate, right, or something.
He was 28 for 34.
Oh, okay, all right, not as
So
good. He started out like 20 for 20.
Yeah, he started out pretty high.
Yeah.
404 yards, 4 touchdowns passing.
No
Nice,
picks,
dude.
yeah.
Big
Nice,
numbers.
And to be fair, and I don't know why I'm putting all this love on Washington State. They balanced it though. They found a run game too. That's why
They're not a bad team.
Might be a little dangerous,
So
dude. Yeah.
Even Oregon State losing, I still thought Oregon State isn't a bad team. The
That's
Pac-12's
the thing
kind of loaded.
that the Pac-12 has always been known for, those cannibalization. We always eat each other alive. We always hand each other 1 or 2, so we never get that undefeated, push at the top of our conference.
All right,
Our conference. We have no more conference. We're going to the Big Ten. We're going to the fucking Big Ten.
Trev, do you have any other? Let's look at some of the other Heisman hopefuls, I guess. What about Michael Penix? Do you have his?
Speaking of you, Doug, we
Yes,
absolutely lit
let's
up
stick
Cal.
on that.
Yeah,
So
dude.
Penix went 19 for 25, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick.
So he must have been pulled.
I'm,
He was.
I'm thinking though he's gonna give Drake May a run for the money for that next quarterback off
I
the
do
board.
too.
If you look at his pure mechanics, his understanding of the game, and his delivery, he
Drake is just.
Penix looks so polished back there. He has a shitload of time. We have a great
Dude,
line.
I'm like such a fan of watching him play the game of football. I think scouts see Drake May and can't get over what they see still, like size and ability and the way he throws the ball. But Michael Penix is my number 3, easy. Easy.
I don't know, man. I think he might be in front of May right now.
For you, he might be. I still have May.
I'm also a homer, but
I have May just a little bit above him.
I get it. Like Penix is not a pure runner by any means, which is funny because he's pretty long. Like he's got some good strides when he gets going, but he doesn't run off the goal. Mostly doesn't have to. Romaduze is out there and Polk is out there.
They're pretty explosive. Trev, any other numbers of Heisman hopefuls?
Well, since we were talking about him, Drake May went 22 for 30, 296 and a touchdown, and then he had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. Not a lot of yards, but the goals line rushing.
Right, but yeah, he's a big dude. He's 6'4". He's a big guy. I mean, you get those pushes and stuff. And
that's the whole enamorment in the NFL right now, as far as like the Anthony Richardsons and the CJ Strouds. Like these are big bodied dudes. Like Anthony Richardson obviously can run his ass off, but like he's already been hurt. Played 2 games, hurt 2 games. Now he's out week 3.
Yep.
And if Ward wasn't the player of the week, I mean, Caleb Williams is still putting up great numbers. 20 for 31, 322, 3 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing.
Yep.
Hey,
So
5
he's
total
5
touches.
touchdown performance.
Yeah,
I always
hard
get you
to
so
argue that. Yeah, dude. That's video game.
What about a little sneaker Leonard from Duke? What did he do?
So Leonard, they blew out Wisconsin 41-7.
Wow.
And in that performance, he went 23 of 24.
Hey.
What?
For 248 and a touchdown. Only 1 touchdown passing.
But dude, that's pretty sweet.
Oh, he was almost perfect.
Efficiency.
And they blew out Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, so basically you're using the pass when you need to, and your running game is clicking.
What did he? What did you? Because he ran for 100 yards last week. Did he run good this week?
Oh, yeah. I didn't grab.
I didn't know
stats.
if you.
I think he only ran for 30 to 40 this week. But man, last week he ran for 100. He's kind of climbing people's boards because of the way he runs and throws.
And then I also had a couple of non-quarterback performances I just wanted to hit.
Oh, absolutely.
So just because, Heisman hopefuls, Blake Corum, 21 carries, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Nice day.
Brock Bowers finally had a good game. He hadn't really had one yet until last Saturday, and it was 9 receptions for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oof.
They're talking about that kid as a top 5 pick in this upcoming draft.
He's not going to go that high, I don't think.
Not at this point. Not with what he's putting on.
He's a top 10. He's a top tight end.
Yes.
Top 10. Top tight end.
Top at the position for sure.
Correct. He might be a top.
I don't know, man. After watching Kyle Pitts go number 4, and
yeah, it could make some people a little leery.
Yeah.
The other one more. Well, I guess quarterback and a wide receiver. The Arkansas LSU game was kind of close.
Sure was.
It was
31-34. LSU pulling it out. Really, I think it was Oregon State was the only ranked team to lose to a favored team. The rest of the top 25, all the favored teams
handled business.
But in that LSU Arkansas game, Daniels passed 20.
He was balling
for 29, 320, 4 touchdowns.
Ooh.
He had a pick. But his wide receiver, Thomas Jr., 5 receptions, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, it was
damn. Talk about getting yards.
A lot. He got a lot.
He did all right.
Oh, did I? Yeah. Talking about wide receivers, also bringing it back to Oregon and Colorado. The junior wide receiver for Oregon, Troy Franklin, had 8 receptions for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns as well.
There you go.
So getting it done.
I mean, come on now.
And that pretty much wraps up some of the players of the week.
That was a great, just week overall matchup of college football. There's a lot of good games. Obviously, everything kind of went chalk, like you said, but that Notre Dame Ohio State game. Do you think that was a good game? I mean, outside of the final score, that was the marquee matchup, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I only saw parts of it. I was wine country.
Wine country.
Hey now.
We're on a beer podcast, not a wine.
So let's jump into some of the big time matchups next week. We have a big Friday matchup.
Oh yeah,
we sure do.
Utah and Oregon State are on Friday. Oregon State's still 19. Utah's 10. Utah going into Oregon State. So that's another big Pac-12 matchup, and it's a big Friday game. It's nice to be the
a nice Friday game,
game.
absolutely.
Well, then you're the lone standing game.
Right.
There's not like of everything else going on. There's no professional football. You're the it that night. So good for them. USC Colorado. I know Colorado's not really ranked anymore, but it is another. It's a big matchup, and it's in Colorado too.
And they're gonna get.
Yeah, I can see Colorado scoring some more points than they did against Oregon.
Yeah.
But I don't really think they have a chance in this game.
I think it's probably a pretty big blowout.
I think this is the time where we reconsider our national view on Colorado and begin to back out of all of their primetime guarantees.
Well, I think they're still a big enough story where they're still going to put up great viewing numbers.
Even what if they just start losing flat out?
They still got a tough fucking Pac-12.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
I want to see how they play after USC. I'm not going to really grade them.
I'm curious to see what the end of their schedule is. Yes, but let's carry on. They're going to get smacked though. They're going to get back-to-back whoopings.
Newly ranked 24th in the nation, Kansas is going to number 3 Texas.
Oh damn!
Big matchup.
Yeah, so Kansas getting in the rankings.
Both undefeated.
Undefeated. So Texas still got to be. I forgot to look at this.
Wait, is it in?
It's in Texas.
Austin. Yeah.
Texas still handle business. Walk on.
100%
to the next game.
They should.
But yeah, Texas got a big one. Then this is the biggest game of the week. I don't know. Maybe not. Number 12 LSU at number 20 Ole Miss.
Being the SEC 2 top or highly ranked teams, I think this is probably
this is the competition for Bama in the West right here, right?
But Ole Miss,
LSU also has a loss too. So
Ole Miss loses here, whatever. I think they're done. Yeah. But if Ole Miss beats LSU, dude, that puts LSU out.
Chaos.
I kind of think LSU's just gonna roll that game though.
I was very disappointed. I thought the very first drive when Jackson Dart went down, they scored. I was like, oh fuck, Ole Miss is gonna give them a run, and it didn't look good after that. I hope they can give LSU more of a game. Arkansas did, but I don't know. I really don't know.
I think that next game on the list though could be the game.
I'd rather watch this game. If I had to pick one of the two to watch, I'd watch the number 11 Notre Dame versus number 17 Duke. I think that Duke team is very fascinating. They smashed Wisconsin just like Trev said this week, and Notre Dame coming off of a loss, and to see how they rebound.
No, absolutely, it's a great matchup for both teams. Duke's on the upswing. Notre Dame's currently they still, their season is still very much in front of them. A tough loss to a quality opponent is always at least taken into consideration. You didn't get you got lost on the last play of the game. It was, it's not to say that they're gonna make the top 4, but they can be competitive and still sniff out maybe 6, 7, 8 if they continue to play well. So
it really comes down to how they respond. This will kind of point them in the direction that their season's gonna end up.
And I hope that Duke smacks them. I do. I got no love for Notre Dame. I don't have a lot of love for Duke, but football, that's the basketball program I dislike. I got no disdain for the football program. So it'd be cool to see a little flip of the script, the little brother coming out and beating on Notre Dame wouldn't be a bad thing for me to see.
Yeah, I don't know what time that game is. I forgot to look up time, but I do really. I think
it's gotta be a day game. It's gotta be a regular ass day game.
Which game? The Duke one?
Yeah, correct.
That's 4:30 p.m.
Ooh, Eastern?
Western.
Oh, because it's 7:30, so it's an evening game.
Yeah, that's almost the prime game.
Gotcha.
Awesome. And then you got any other games you want to touch on, T?
No, I thought you highlighted what are projected to be the better matchups this Saturday.
Sure.
Yeah, the money makers of viewing, because Colorado's not ranked, but yet it's still going to be a huge.
That draw's still there for sure.
All right, let's jump into not some great news in the NFL. Got a couple players done for the season since we've last talked. Nick Chubb done for the season. Some people were speculating maybe season career ending the way that his knee went sideways. Nobody else has really come out and confirmed that, but he is done.
No, they actually they ran an MRI and it's an MCL and a partial ACL. So They said it could have been much worse. It looked terrible. I made the mistake of Googling the actual footage.
Well,
and
you had to
seeing it.
because they weren't going to show it again. I don't know why.
You know what you do in NFL. Yeah, they knew why they shouldn't have shown it. It was brutal, dude. I shouldn't have looked it up. Oh my
But
Lord.
you know everyone that was going to look it up that
right.
didn't see
I
it.
understand. I'm such a puss, though, dude. I hate bodily injuries. Raise your hand if you've broken a bone, right? It's awful, okay? Not a fun experience.
And then the second injury is Diggs.
Trayvon. Let's be clear about that.
For the season.
Yeah,
Trayvon, yes.
And, I mean, without giving out too much foreshadowing, what happened to the Cowboys today?
They got smoked.
Handled.
I mean,
In the desert.
We'll get to
Handled.
that a little
We're
bit
going to
more.
get there. But you just wait, Cowboy fans. We're coming for you.
Stephen A's letting them have it already.
So it is. I mean, it's such a bummer. The two top, like they're each top, but they're two top players. Chubb's easily one of the best backs.
Chubb's a stud,
and Trayvon is a stud.
Yeah,
the
top
backside.
Five at their
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, correct.
So it is a bum that we do lose guys. And football's an aggressive sport. It's hard contact, but it sucks.
Well, yeah,
losing
you
dudes.
you hope that like maybe throughout a season a Nick or okay, you sat out this game or
Missed a
this
couple games,
yeah,
okay.
right? Yeah, like
Don't lose a season. That's so
the
rough.
season's so rough. Dude.
for everybody, especially for the player first, obviously as a human, as their career, their family, all of that. But as a fan,
Fan
man,
of the team or just a fan of football, man.
all of it, yeah. There's no good outcome from
It's
it.
not. You just. It's a bum. And you see it breaking
bum.
news, and all of a sudden you see breaking news flash across the screen, and it's like NFL, and you're like, oh,
such and such fear
Yeah.
that such and such blew out knee.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the scariest thing during preseason and training camp is you're waiting for that one injury on your team to drop. Somewhere somebody's gonna have a non-contact. Joe Burrow was a non-contact injury and it's lingering. Even if he, I'm getting too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love
Next
the
segment,
NFL.
Chuck,
Next segment.
all right. So then let's jump into some baseball, guys. We literally have like a week of baseball left. You guys just got swept by the Rangers.
We got
Rangers. All right, so let's talk.
No, are we? Let's talk.
All right, so right now Baltimore's up on the East, 97-59.
They're
They
running.
are only 2 games up on the Rays, though.
Yeah.
In the West, Texas is 87-68. They are 2 games up on the Houston, and they are 3 games up on the Mariners.
And we still have another series against both of them, but god damn it, man.
And
That's
in the
important series.
Shit, the
in the
bed's
Central
so hard.
Minnesota is 83-73, and they are up on the Indians by 10 games.
The
so
Guardians.
as big Guardians. It's basically a done deal.
It wouldn't be a pod without you. What city did the Chargers play in?
We're gonna have to get
LA.
like a fudge jar and just put $1 in and whenever we fuck it up.
Eric Andrews. His name's Mark Andrews.
I know. So those are the leaders. But now when you get into the wild card, Tampa Bay, yes, has a 9.5 game up. They're like basically.
It's gonna be the O's and the Rays are pretty much in.
But then Toronto
is right there.
is 2 games up on the 3rd wild card, which right now is Houston at 85-71 by a game
Over
on the
Seattle.
Mariners. So that's it. Yankees and everybody else are
Oh,
out.
done. What
It's
about
done.
the Jays are right there? We just talked about
Jays
that,
are
right? They're in?
87.
Okay.
They're in right now. They're
Okay.
2 up on the 3rd spot.
Which
Yeah.
is the Astros.
Which is
okay.
you or the Astros.
And the Astros by a game up
Yes.
on them.
Texas swept you guys this
I
weekend.
know,
Which
I
fucking
know, I know. Every time I caught the update scores, I was fucking not happy.
Sorry, Chuck.
Come on, Julio.
dude, he's playing out of his mind right now.
I know.
He's playing
I
good.
know.
Dude, we have a lot. We have so much young talent in baseball right now that's playing good. Fucking, do you guys see Acuna just went 40-40 talking about the Braves? So now he's 40-60.
Yeah,
Dude, he's
nobody's
fucking.
ever done that before in the history of the league.
So the Braves are 100. They're at 100 games, 156. They're basically in.
They have to be the favorites right now, right? They have to.
Their pitching is. They got hurt again. Charlie Morton went on the IL, so their pitching is not going in the right direction.
That will
going
end
into
up
the playoffs.
biting them, right? Yeah, no, this is not the time you want to start losing your Mound
Dude,
Warriors.
so then next you got the Dodgers at 96 and 59. The Dodgers are up by a ton in the West too. So those two
They
teams
pulled
are
away from the
Diamondbacks
Diamondbacks
back.
and the Giants. Yeah,
And then
because the Padres are just
they're out.
What happened, man? What
I don't
happened
know.
down in San Diego?
Bob Melvin might be out of a job. I don't know. I don't know how much of that's the manager's fault. Players don't play, right? Players are supposed to be playing the game. You paid the money to players. They don't shell out. It's hard. Then you have the Centrals, the Milwaukee Brewers. They're 88 and 68. They're up on the Cubs by 6 games right now. So Cubs probably not in the running for that, but when we get down here to the wild card, they're in it. The wild card, Phillies probably 5 up. They're in.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it gets crazy.
Crazy.
Arizona, 82 and 73, are a half game up on the Cubs at 82 and 74, which are only a game up on the Miami Marlins, which are only a couple games up, which are only a game up on the Reds, who are 2.5 back from the Cubs. So, and then you can kind of talk about that the Giants and the Padres are 5 back. So they really have to go on. You'd have to go on a runner.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, Marlins.
Because we have under 10 games left, right? We have like 6-8 games left for
Something
all
like
teams.
that.
Yeah.
So you have Marlins
We're
and
there.
Cubs are in Cincy are all fighting right
Yeah,
there for
because
that spot.
the wild card is October. It's first 2-3 days of October. We're here,
We're
baby.
almost-
We're here.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's gonna be. I think, man, it's looking,
It's so insane to think that 162 games comes down to a half game on your opponent's fucking field, right? It's just like, God, dear, I swear to God, if we don't get this run and we don't make the postseason, we just wasted 162 fucking games.
I know you guys are fighting. It's gonna come down
I
to you or
know.
Houston.
Then maybe
I really hope.
like it did last year too.
I hope you can get in over Houston. Fucking.
Yeah, that would be lovely over anybody, over whomever, whatever. I don't care.
And then at
Get
that
in
point,
there.
and then at that point, dude, you're looking at pitching stats. Scherzer goes down, which I think we forgot to talk about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Scherzer's down again, so then the Texas pitching staff is just fucking demolished. Charlie Morton goes down this week, so the Braves pitching staff has another person going on the DL. You know,
IL.
IL. So it's
Fudge
like
job.
it's like then the Dodgers. You know, nobody wants to root for the fucking Dodgers.
No.
No.
Nobody wants to root for the Dodgers.
So it's just fuck. You see these guys start going down. I'm like, no, man. When Charlie Morton went down, I was just like,
Baseball, though, this is where like more baseball will start being broadcasted nationally, which is always good. Makes it easier to
dude,
track
and
down
check it
and
out,
watch.
dude. There is some young talent. Talk about Chuck's boy Julio.
Oof.
Who we talk about Acuna. We talk about Acuna all the time on the pod.
He's getting that NL MVP.
That whole
He's
fucking
pretty much
Braves
there.
team. Just watch the Braves play baseball. Like,
Watch them once.
yeah,
Watch them
dude. They got a lot of young. There's a lot of young talent out there, man.
That's good. That's good. That's what the MLB actually does a very good job of staying young within the talent, I guess. But like they can't get the fan base to get younger.
No.
How do they get the fan base?
It's really regional. It's a very regional sport. It's not like it's nationally like football.
But why do you think that is though?
162 games.
So much.
It's just overconsumption. It's not one day a week. It's
Man, and I
every
wait
day.
every fucking day for that Sunday, baby. Let's go, Hawks.
So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with what happened this week in football. A lot of upsets.
Oh, dude, I got some beer to drink.
Yep, a lot of upsets. Chuck's always.
Lagging behind on the juice. This is juicy, y'all.
So we'll get to those updates. Talk about them.
Yeah,
and
we're
then
gonna probably touch a little bit on every team. There's a lot. This week was a little bit different.
It was very, very defining for some teams and not so for others. But yeah, week 3
kind of makes
review.
you. Some teams really need to take a look in the mirror and figure out what the fuck's going on.
You know, we do too because our fucking parlay got blown the fuck up this week. No bragging there. We lost.
And I lost last week.
Yeah,
Dude,
we didn't. It was close.
14
It was
points.
so close.
14 points on defense. Are you kidding me? That Steelers
No.
offense isn't that good.
They're not. I mean, they're beating your Raiders, but you know.
I can play quarterback for a team.
Week 3 in review, week 4 preview.
Correct. Coming up.
Let's go.
Welcome back. Cheers, boys.
On to the next beer.
Oh, that's tasty.
What are we sipping on this time, Chuck?
530 or 530. 530. It's probably a reference to the time in the morning. It's an easy drinker. It's an unfiltered wheat.
Farmers.
Yeah, by Farmers Brewing out of Princeton, California. It drinks at 5%. I think 5:30 is the play on the idea that like you can drink it at 5:30 in the morning potentially.
Easy early morning drinking.
That's what they call it. Yeah, it literally says easy drinker on the can.
Yeah, I mean it's tasty. It's a nice all day drinker. I could drink it all day.
It definitely does a good job of having that citrus part on the back end, which I enjoy. I do like. I like that we start off with the heavier beer and then coast into it's a pretty pour for sure.
And I do like the easier drinker wheats. I'm not always a big fan of certain wheats.
Sure, when
Some
they get
of them could be too heavy for me, but this one is very light.
When they get it's what's like banana-y, you know the like true Bavarian like German wheat where it's just like it's almost thick. It's just like
too much for me.
It can be. When those are done right, they're very good. But when they're overbearing, it's just like any beer, I suppose. Like I like a good barrel aged beer, but if it's just straight barrel, like I might as well just have whiskey. You know what I mean?
It can get rough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a balance. It's all about balance. So let's jump into our week 3 in review. Right, we just wrapped up the Sunday night game. Your Raiders actually made it relatively close.
Yeah, fuck them.
But we'll get to that.
There's your update.
Well, let's get into the leading off the week. The Niners at the Giants, or I guess it was in Giants at the Niners.
Jesus, Levi.
Yeah. Giants 12, San Francisco 30. The Niners have scored 30 points in every game this season so far.
That one went to schedule. That one was pretty much a Niners victory from the first couple of drives.
Well, yes.
Saquon.
No Saquon. Well, even more so, no Thomas.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah. Their left tackle.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the things I love about my team is the line play. It just wrecks shop. No matter what side
100%.
it is. They bully people, and I love watching that.
That's where you win the game, right? Is in the trenches, for sure.
So, for my game, let's see. Well, after the game, I guess, Lynch and Shanahan got extensions.
That is true.
Yeah.
I read that as well. Well deserved. I mean, overall, like outside of the botched
Lance,
they have been immaculate as far as like head coach / GM. Like obviously, very very close to getting that Super Bowl. You got to one. You've been to multiple NFC Championship games. Like you're there. You're right fucking there.
We've been relevant.
Right.
It's life is good as a fan.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That's what they're saying down in Vegas right now.
That's the Raider fan.
Go back to the Bay so I can be a Niner fan.
But okay, let's talk about the Robinson Williams spat. Did you guys see that? The
Trent Williams with. Yes, I did. Trent smacked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Did you see Robinson threw the punch first?
Did he?
Yeah, it was a retaliation punch.
No, it was simply just the Niners' fault.
If you watch that replay, Robinson comes up with a soft kind of uppercut before Williams kind of gives him the hand.
He wanted him to think that he could punch him, but he didn't.
No, he hit him.
Lies.
His fist didn't look heavy. Let's just say that. I mean, I'm happy, of course, that Williams didn't get thrown out because that could have been one of those retaliation plays.
To be fair, he's a chippy player too, man. You don't want to piss off Trent Williams. Like he has no problem going at a motherfucker. Yeah, he really has no. He's not shy.
I think you're crazy stepping up to that guy, man. That's just nuts.
It's a hoss of a man who's insanely athletic, right? Like terrifying.
But to break down the game a little further, Funga got an INT. Ronnie Bell, their wide receiver they drafted, he got his first touchdown reception. Bosa got his first sack. Moody, the kicker that they drafted, has been perfect after having kind of some struggles in the preseason.
Yeah, I couldn't hit a kick in the preseason.
Yeah, no,
Who the hell cares now that it actually counts? You know?
Yeah, so it was great to see.
Okay.
One of the stats that they threw around a lot was Purdy was blitzed on 85% of his throws, but
Wow.
he threw for career highs as far as yardage at 310, which not nice, and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy with where Purdy's been playing. CMC's been great too, like 18 carries, 85 yards, a touchdown, 5 receptions, 34 more yards. Like, this guy does it all. He's such
so
a
awesome.
great fit for Shanahan. I'm so happy
Dude,
he made this
and
trade.
like, knock on wood, he just gets up and just goes about his business, dude. That guy is just a machine. He always looks ready for the next play. He always looks focused. He always looks like he's ready. Like, CMC is a stud, and it pisses me off that he wears 9 red.
Player of the game was probably Debo, though. 6 receptions, 129 yards, and a touchdown.
That kid's so hard to bring down. Jesus
I
Christ.
love the Yak. I'm all
He's
love
so
it. The
hard to
Yak
bring
Bros,
down.
baby. CMC, Debo, and Kittle. And Kittle's just such a front man. I love having him represent.
He's hilarious.
That pretty much wraps up that game, though.
Dominance, though, like 30 to
100%.
12, it wasn't competitive. It was not at any point.
Let's jump into some of the Sunday games. I'll take the first one. The Colts get a big win in Baltimore.
Dude,
22-19.
I didn't think they were going to win, but I thought they were going to cover.
Ravens were up 1. Ravens were up 7 in the first quarter. Then the Colts were up 3 going into halftime at 10-7. And then the Ravens at the end of the third quarter were up by 1. And then all of a sudden tie it up in the fourth, and Colts get a big field goal in OT to win it. But Minshew does get the win. He does have a kind of a boo-boo with stepping out of bounds and a safety.
End zone, yeah.
Not quite, or lost.
It was
his
worth
stats.
it. 1 step back, 2 steps forward. Homeboy won the game.
But I think that this next stat, Zach Moss had 30 carries for 122.
He ran angry, dude.
But,
He
like,
ran
so-
real angry.
Why not in Buffalo? Because Buffalo's got no offensive fucking line to do
Sure.
that.
Yep.
Sure.
Minshew had just a 227, 1 touchdown. We talked about his stepping out of bounds. Michael Pittman Jr. is really becoming. We talk about him every week. It seems like being
He's
like
been
their
the
number one.
go-to player on that team. Man.
9 for 77. He didn't get a tutty this week. But Josh Downs, a rookie from North Carolina, had 8 receptions for 57. Alex Pierce almost had that big catch down the sideline at the end of the game that almost would have sealed it. Defender made a good move, but he was third in receptions there. The Ravens, Lamar was only 202.
Yeah,
He ran for 101 on 14 with 2 touchdowns, but he only threw 22 for 31 for 202. He completed his average was only 6.5 for completions.
And previous to that, the Colts were giving up a lot through the air, so I was kind of surprised that they couldn't take
Didn't
more
try to
advantage
exploit
of that. I mean, both Chuck and I are a lot higher on the Ravens, and I thought this should have been an ezy win for them. And the Colts have proved me wrong this season.
Well, I think there's been a couple of teams we're about to run through that we thought there should have been easy wins. And
I think Steichen needs to be looked at very closely right now. Like, these first 3 weeks, these Colts have been super.
That's why I
competitive.
think. That's why I was.
super competitive.
That's why I was more down on the
They
Eagles.
lost to Jacksonville, but that was week 1. They were, goal lines here and there. Like, there were a couple of plays here and there that, like, go ahead, Trev. You look like you want to add.
I was just going to say, it reminds me of the day ball, like him
Sure.
leaving Buffalo for the Giants. Like, you see it, and these are, not only were they great coordinators, but they're good coaches.
Right,
It's
which
obvious
is
already.
always
It's
the
obvious
big
already.
question mark, right? Because you see those, it happens every year where the guy makes the leap from coordinator to head coach and he gets his shot, and sometimes it works out, and unfortunately a lot of times it doesn't. Or sometimes I think the teams are unfairly, timely. 1 year, gosh darn, 1 year is not a lot of time to instill a program, to change a culture, to, bring ideology and like this can-do attitude kind of thing. and you get axed after 1 year. Now, sometimes I guess, but like,
Sure.
gosh darn.
I think you hit the nail on the head, or with the hammer, Trev, talking about the Dayball and Steichen thing. You see the progression of one team, but you see the regression in another team.
Yep,
So far, the Eagles have kind of
just
really
one.
not really felt like they were the Eagles of last year yet. And I thought Shane Steichen leaving would be a huge disadvantage to him, just like Dayball leaving for the Bills being a disadvantage to, like,
The Bills look fucking good today.
They did look good
We'll
today.
get down
Holy
that.
shit,
We'll get down
holy
that
shit.
rabbit hole soon.
But that's about it on that game. Good win by the Colts. That's a huge win for them. They're 2-1 in the division now, or they're 2-1. The Ravens are 2-1. So good job, Colts. Chuck, what game you got?
Shout out. Yeah, I would say the final score is surprising just because of how lopsided it was. I wouldn't say the outcome is surprising, but it's 27-3 Cleveland over Tennessee.
I was a little surprised when I saw
Yeah,
the
for
score.
sure. You didn't
Tennessee
think that would be
only
a
had
3
three?
score. With
Yeah.
how bad Cleveland offense looked in primetime last week, you were
Correct.
like, okay, like oof, we're back to this square one. And Deshaun did,
He looked good today.
good enough. Like for
He
fuck's
was
sake.
better.
Yeah, 27 for 33 for 289 and 2 tuds. That's a game.
The-
That's what you want your QB to be doing.
The puzzler with that one, though, is...
Well,
Henry-
here's the craziest things, you guys. Okay, Tannehill threw for 104 yards. What are we doing? 104
Just
yards.
got
The Browns 25 attempts. And ready for this? No, this defense for Cleveland was absolutely on top of it.
Dude, they are really
11 carries for, you ready? 20 yards. This is like the worst outing in Derrick Henry's career. For 10 plus touches, that's got to be his worst average.
Cleveland's
That's
defense
awful.
is
Legit.
really good. They
They're
were
fast.
good on Monday
They're
night.
fast as fuck.
The only reason the Browns lost
fast
on
as
Monday
fuck,
night is
boy.
because of 14 fucking defensive points. So the Browns' defense is fucking killing it. They held the Bengals to nothing. They kicked the shit out of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, it was the
was
offense
two-
who turned over the points.
fucking
Yeah,
fumble
sure,
and a pick six.
sure. No, that makes a lot of sense.
So
I
the
mean,
Browns' defense is playing
and
lights out.
it's over for Tennessee. Everybody who is preseason basically saying they're going to try to make one more push with this core. They got DeAndre Hopkins. No, they're done.
Window is closed.
There it is. It
I
Vrabel
expected
is
more
a
from
good
Henry
coach.
and-
I think he turns it around soon, but they
I think he'll have a couple more games
They gotta-
throughout the year, but I think they got to blow it up.
Yeah,
it's time.
I don't-
It's time.
I don't think they're going to be...
So okay, here's a
Bottom of the
question. Here's a
division.
question before we move into the next game: is how long do you think they go before they play Levis? Because he's the next it boy, right?
Well,
he's the
or
next
is it the other kid?
I mean...
Willis. Do
Willis
they still have
is
Willis? Do they
second
still
on the
have
depth
Willis?
chart.
Okay.
But
Technically, he's second on the depth chart, like Sprout said. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, it's still really early, so I don't think there's a move probably till mid-season, but mid-season I can see it happening if it continues.
they got to try to find out something.
That's what I'm saying.
I
You
think-
know what Tannehill is. It's been that experiment. It has yielded its results.
Dude, you can't have 104-yard pass in the NFL.
It's
On
so
25 attempts. On 25 attempts. It's not like he threw it 10 times. 25 attempts that's a Russell Wilson game. Not anymore. Speaking of which, oh my god, wait till we get to that game.
His numbers don't look bad in that game.
He didn't play awful. He didn't give up 70 points.
Dude, it's
like,
that whole
you know what I
team.
mean? Like as a quarterback, like how the
His-
fuck do you even?
His numbers actually aren't like when we'll get
they're
to
fair
it.
to.
Yeah,
They're
we'll get to it.
middling. They're not awful.
No.
We might as well take it there, right? We have anything else for Cleveland?
Oh yeah, you are the
Tennessee?
next game.
That's the next game.
Yes, let's take it there.
We knew what we were doing.
So, I mean, Dolphins rout the Broncos 70-20.
70.
Scoring the most points by an NFL team since 1966.
Dude.
Right?
70 points in an NFL football game.
It was real bad.
Well, for one side.
Yeah, for the Broncos side, like D coordinator, where you at?
Vance Joseph, dude.
But where you at as players?
Yeah, that's the other thing too, man. How?
Where's your pride?
Where's
your pride?
It's
You gave up 70 fucking points. One kid ran for 200 yards. A kid from Texas A&M.
Yeah, they
Devin
threw in the
Arden,
towel.
yeah.
That was the
They
other
did.
thing.
100%.
That guy from A&M, oh my goodness. I had him on my fantasy roster. I dropped him
Told
because
you
they
you
weren't
should.
using him at all. And then this game happens, man. 203 yards, 2 touchdowns.
On what? Like it was like 12 carries or some shit. 18.
But he tore it up. Hill had a hell of a game. Tua is top quarterback, I think, right now. Probably 23 for 26.
Offensive line's held up.
309 and 4 touchdowns.
He didn't get hit again
Week
today.
4 tomorrow. next week's week 4.
He hasn't been hit a lot this year. The offensive line's been surprisingly better.
He's been getting rid of the ball pretty quick, too.
He's been. I saw the best stat today in relation to that was he has the quickest release at 2.3 seconds from snap to ball release, and also the deepest average throw as well. That speaks to how quickly, like,
the guys are getting
Waddle and fucking Hill and Mostert and Speed kills, and Mike McDaniels is out there blowing the doors off of motherfuckers, dude.
It's fun to watch. Dude.
He's gonna say, "Catch me if you can."
Yeah.
Is basically what they're doing down in Miami right now.
I mean, the steps that Miami has taken to get rid of the ball quicker with his injury concerns, the play calling, that team, they're definitely one of the favorites in the NFL.
I think
Miami and San Francisco currently looks like the Super Bowl matchup.
I think
you were to just say
early
the first 3
season
weeks.
power rankings go to those teams.
I think you said a good thing in play calling. We're going to talk about some of these teams. Play calling looks like shit.
It has. For some of the games I watched, I threw my hands up in the air and said, "What the fuck are we doing here?"
Like, seriously, like some of the play calling, like, yes, it is the players, like we talked about giving up 70 points. It's the coaches too with the play calling. But some of this offensive play calling in some of these games has not been great. Like, how do you get from point A to point B? You went from point A to point, like, Z. There was, like, I don't know, Mike McDaniel does a great job of play calling. He's, like, right up there with Kyle and shit in the play call world of, like, manipulating the way the play caller is being had to get what you want out of what's next.
I mean, he's a super smart guy, and he was deep in that system.
And he has speed everywhere.
Everywhere. That team, man,
it's just it's a track race. It's a track meet. You're not going to catch him neither, by the way. Like, a little FYI for the league. Like, you're a little bit behind what they're doing in Miami. Fuck, man, yeah. The only 2 teams that have looked consistent throughout all of their games have been the Dolphins and the Niners.
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to, the Cowboys game we'll get into later, it's an afternoon game, but, like, wait till we get to that.
I got a real barn burner as my game. The fucking Patriots versus the fucking god-awful Jets. Dude, come on.
Well, this is a weather game, right?
Dude, make a fucking trade.
So bad.
Make a fucking trade. Dude, you're fucking the rest of your team.
How did he
go get somebody. Go look at Jacoby Brissett. Fucking Heineke and fucking Heineke and Falcons. Jacoby for the fucking Commanders. Go find a half-decent backup somewhere and go steal one of theirs because Zach Wilson's not good.
Yeah, I understand the plan going into the season, but losing Aaron Rodgers changes everything. Zach
drastically
has proven he hasn't made any improvements, really.
0.
Yeah, it maybe looked a little better in the preseason.
He's
and
under
now that
50%.
Aaron's gone, he's lost.
Dude, he's lost. I mean, it's a 15-10 game.
And that line is terrible, and that rushing game has 2 premier backs that cannot get anywhere. Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook are not.
Defense doesn't respect the pass because it's so bad.
Why you're loading up like you're fucking almost at 10 or 11 in the box.
You're putting 8, 9 in the box for sure.
And it's not like the fucking Patriots are out there slinging it around either or making any headway. They had, like, Mackey only had 15
Mackey.
for 201.
Over 200.
Zeke at least had an 80 burger. On
15, 16, right?
16 carries, 80, and then Stevens had a 59. But, dude, that's 15. You had 15 completions. It's because the Jets defense is good. The fucking Patriots defense is good, too, though, because they gave up. Breece Hall had 12 carries for 18 yards, and Dalvin Cook had 8 carries for 18 yards. Yeah. So you can't run the ball. You can't fucking throw the ball.
That offensive line is so bad. Unfortunately, Dwayne Brown just went on the IR. Mekhi Becton ain't out there doing much. Elijah Vera Tucker needs some help.
They're in a bad spot.
They are. They're in the worst way. And like we've said, you win in the trenches. Like, they have some good defensive linemen, but that offensive line.
Their defense is sick. But you're not gonna. They're gonna lose. They could be at the very.
Zach Wilson is bad.
They could be drafting very low.
If they continue with him, they're just throwing in the towel for the season.
Low numbers. Single digits.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah, but okay. So if you're the Jets, say they do lose a lot, and we're jumping like they were 3 games in, maybe they figure something out.
No,
but if you take a quarterback,
they're the Jets.
I think.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Even though
with Aaron Rodgers,
well, maybe he plays one more, but you still take him, right? A quarterback.
You really have 2 choices.
Or do you have to take a lineman?
You
because
either
your offensive line is so bad.
Just say you're not gonna compete this season, and you roll with Zach Wilson.
Right.
Or you bring someone in and try to get into the playoffs.
But next year, you roll with Zach Wilson all
you're
17.
giving up the season,
right? And that's fine. But with Zach's point, there's QB help all over this next year's draft. If you're in the top 3 to 5,
they can get that.
Rodgers isn't the franchise guy. He's coming back to have a revenge season at best, and then he's gone. Right?
But he could. It sucked that he got hurt, but he could easily have a weird roll up again and pop something else. Like
you're drafting a QB there.
That.
No, what I'm saying is you absolutely draft a QB. If you shit this season that far away and you have the prospect of a top 3 quarterback, you do it.
I think though, I think Salah might be fighting for his job. So
I wouldn't disagree.
I think the play really is Kirk Cousins with the Vikings not winning a game yet. Making that trade.
This year? Right now.
You have to. I think
Kirk Cousins also isn't under contract.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, correct.
So you can let it play out as far as how it goes, but if you don't make that play, I think Salah's fired.
But there's even you should have kept Mike White over Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it's because
you had the draft pick.
It's the high pick. It's
the leash. It's the opportunity.
Fucked.
Yeah,
it's fucked.
And that brings
he's
me
so
back
bad. He's like at 52% completion rate. He's bad. Bad.
That brings me back to my team. I'm happy that we were able to move off of that after we saw that it wasn't going to work for us. It might work for somebody else.
Are you talking about Lance?
You've given up on that pick, even though it was as high as it is. It was sure it sucks, but I think it was the right play going forward. And the Jets made that. They went the other way. And
so far they have. No, yeah, and if you have a little bit of money. And you didn't have to give up a lot to get Aaron Rodgers. If you still believe that there's something there to be had, then make the trade. Or it sucks, Jets fans, because your hope was so up here.
You were so fucking high.
But now that you're not,
it's still going to be tough if they do bring in a guy that, like you're saying, with that offensive line.
It's bad.
But this next team that we're going to talk about here in a minute that Chuck's going to have, dude, their quarterback didn't play very good either. And they're kind of in that same stage where coach is kind of in a hot seat, and quarterback's kind of like, well, if he doesn't do it now, we could be drafting a quarterback as well.
Sure. Which leads me to Bills Commanders. Because
they're like in the same spot as the Jets.
There's one QB1 that's a stud. Now, granted, he's had a little bit of a roller coaster the last couple of, the end of last season into this year. Josh Allen is physically an animal.
His play style it reminds me of Brett Favre. He's gonna push balls to tight windows that he probably shouldn't, and it's gonna cost him at times.
Yeah, clearly.
But he is an incredible quarterback still.
And he also has the utmost faith in himself. Well, it's got to be the forget about the last throw mentality, whether it was good or bad. It only matters about the next throw, not the previous throw.
And holds himself to a higher standard than holding anybody else, to where it doesn't look like where some dudes they do something bad, it doesn't bother him. Him throwing the picks and not making the plays is upsetting. You see it on his
he's hungry. Yeah. He's a hungry young man for sure. The guy is an absolute stud. You stop running him so much at Buffalo. If I could give you just a small
give us a
piece of advice.
fucking offensive line.
But they didn't need it today. 37-3, man. Now. The Commanders were kind of fraudulent 2-0s, but you only beat the team that's in front of you, so they were 2-0. They got absolutely
how really
whacked
that game
at home, 37-3. Jay Allen, as we had just talked about, went 20 for 32 for 218, 1 tut, 1 pick. So it wasn't really him who was getting it done. Like, they don't really. It's funny. It was the kicker who actually had a lot, and it was Tyler Bass that had I think 4 or 5 field goals.
Colt Turner from Nevada had a good game with the with the Commanders. He had 4 catches for 35. Little Nevada guy.
Look at
out
that.
there.
Okay, but Sam Howell throws 4 INTs, y'all.
That was the game right
this
there.
This is another team with the exact same thing we were talking about with the Jets. Like, if Howell's not the dude, you're picking, right?
Hal, though, we haven't seen as much as him as we've seen of Zach Wilson, though.
Correct.
So I
And
think
Howell
he
did look
gets more
really good.
runway.
Howell looked okay game 1, looked really good game 2, looked really bad this week. So, and Rivera's on the same team too, because remember, this ownership group just came in, so he's he's fighting for his job just like Saleh.
Yeah, that's true.
So they both, Jets and Washington, could be looking at a change of scenery at quarterbacks next year.
Oh yeah, no. Sam Howell's doing himself no favors so far this season. Even with the record that it is, he hasn't been the reason why they've won any games, and he certainly was the reason why they lost this game.
What's the next game, Trev?
Yeah, we don't need to deeper dive into that one. Bills have real
Bills
quick.
are good.
They have all of the potential to be good or bad. That's clearly what we have seen.
It's gonna be turnovers if they turn the ball over a bunch, or it's gonna be what the defense gonna hold together.
Bend or break.
Correct.
I mean, to top that off, I think the Bills' defense is getting good. The only hold or the only drawback is the offensive line and Allen's interceptions.
The offensive line, and I don't think they're deep at receiver.
No, they're really not.
Gabe Davis has regressed since about 2 years ago. He had that crazy breakout game against KC in the playoffs, and since then he's been okay. And they've been rotating third. Isaiah McKenzie's been there.
Right.
They tried Cole Beasley again. They've tried several different guys.
They drafted the Boise State Shakir.
Yeah. He's supposed to be
And Dalton Kincaid.
He's supposed to be the third this year, so we'll see. But yes, the receiving core hasn't been great either.
No.
But next game up would be the Falcons and the Lions.
Ooh. Lions fan.
Lions looked dominant in this game.
Yeah,
They did.
Their defense really showed up. I thought this was going to be a closer game. The Falcons had played well up until this point.
They couldn't get that run game going.
Yeah,
Algier
that's what killed
was
them.
stymied. Bajan, broke a couple, fought real hard, had to fight for his. Algier couldn't get anywhere. They stonewalled him.
But with Stonewall in that run game, that was the end of the Falcons.
Well, yeah, you're not putting it on Ritter's back.
Not
or
right
on, now. No, right, exactly. You need that running game to offset so you can run a couple of play actions, the fear of the pass. But yeah, without the run, that team is
What's
not
to make
there.
the Falcons 2-1?
Yes,
they're both 2-1. These teams, Ritter's just. I think he should be better with those weapons. I know he's still young into his career, but it was kind
Maybe
of
Kyle
disappointing.
Pitts isn't a dude.
I mean,
He is. I don't know. The one kid from
I don't think he can separate.
It's
and
hard to
Drake
say.
London looks like a dude.
His upside are supposed to be these 50-50 balls, and if you're not throwing him his way, then you're kind of wasting what the upside of his potential was supposed to bring. And Arthur Smith is he's a zone run blocking pass, scheme kind of coach. The way they built that team versus the way they coached that team is a little different to me. If you gave that roster to McDaniel or to Shanahan or to McVay or to a coach like that, I think that your outcomes would be vastly different than a head coach like Arthur Smith.
maybe. I mean, I like all those coaches that you listed. I don't know if Arthur Smith is. I kind of I still like him though. I don't think he's necessarily the issue there. Again, I think it comes back to Ritter. I mean, Pitts led in receiving
and targets. He was targeted a decent amount today.
And yeah, I guess some of the play calling maybe, but man, that one kind of left me scratching my head. I really thought the Atlanta would be able to do more. The Lions defense really did make the difference in that game and put that away.
Agreed.
I got the next game. The next game is, hold on. It was the Packers coming back from 17 down and winning 18 to 17.
It was a shutout until like literally the start of the fourth quarter, basically.
Romeo Doubs makes an incredible catch in the end zone for the win.
Kids got
that
hands.
up.
Dude,
Kids
he's
got
fucking.
hands. We can drink tonight.
Dude, he's fucking playing, shelling out right now. No Aaron Jones again. Second game in a row for the Packers. Carr gets hurt in the third quarter. That's kind of where
that lead.
And that's kind of where the downfall of the Saints came in. They didn't really score after Carr got hurt. Jameis comes in after that, has 101 yards, 10 for 16. But they didn't really run the ball real well. They do get Kamara back next game, so the Saints do get Kamara back. He's done with his 3-game suspension. That might help. Olave had 104 yards, so he shelled out.
That will help.
They were missing Williams too, so
Right.
they were on their third running back for starting.
Yeah. And then AJ Dillon only had 33 yards for the Packers. So hopefully, I like Aaron Jones. Hopefully he comes back soon. Chet?
I was gonna say, yeah, Dylan I expected more out of, but I expected less from Love. Love had surprised me. I thought he would be, I thought he should be solid being in that system as long as he's been. But coming back and winning this game, I didn't think that was in him. Actually, I was on the fence when he was that guy.
He's played 3 good games. Even
Yeah.
last game when they lost,
He
still played
has
a
shown
good game.
you his ability to compete, his ability to make good throws, good reads. Like he kind of has a presence about him already, and that's super helpful.
And without Jones and without Watson, like
Dude,
those are their big playmakers.
Watson hasn't played
so
yet.
look at this.
Right, those are their biggest playmakers, and they're out.
Listen to the
comes
first-
back and wins this game.
First three names on yards. Romeo Doubs, second-year player, 5 for 73. Jaden Reed, rookie, right?
Homeboy came
He's
out of
been-
nowhere.
yeah,
These last
he's
2
been
weeks,
great.
he's been balling.
3 for
great.
63. Number 3, Luke Musgrave, 6
Another
for
rookie.
49. Dude, it's just you get Christian Watson and they get Aaron Jones going. This team has the potential now to make the run with how bad the fucking Vikings look.
Gotta give a nod to the coach and staff as well.
I even gave the Vikings 7 wins, but I placed them 4th in the NFC.
You
North.
did. But you also had the Bears like all up in your
I
mouth.
did. I had the Bears having more wins than none.
We'll get
Yeah,
to that game in a second.
Oh, Lord.
So actually, the next game is you, Chuck, but it's
That's
not.
right.
It's another blowout that
No,
I didn't
it's,
see coming.
but this one is a surprising one, you guys. We bet this one.
Yeah.
We took the Jags -8. I'm sorry, -8 at home.
Yeah.
It was -8 at home, is what I believe the final.
But
ended
dude,
up
come
with.
on! You had a rookie quarterback coming into your house. and
CJ
you let him
Stroud
put
came
up
in and
30
played very
seconds.
well.
CJ Stroud looking good.
Very well.
He's looking like
I
the best
mean-
of the class at this point of the season.
I mean, Bryce Young has looked bad, but that Panthers
He
team
did get
is
hurt.
not very good. We'll explain that later.
Yeah.
But CJ Stroud was 20 for 30, 280, and 2 tuds. Like his counterpart, Trevor Lawrence, 27 for 40, 279, 1 TD, 1 pick. So not a terrible game, but at no point were the Jaguars really competitive in this game. Like they went down 14-0, and from there it was an uphill battle that the Texans never let go of. Like they got blown out. They got 37-17. Like they got doubled up, dude. Bad game.
It's been a
Bad
slow start to the season for the Jags.
It has. It really has. They held off Indy week 1, which was to be expected.
But put up points.
Right, and then you got
KC.
stymied by KC, which is kind of understable.
But this
That's a
game they
tough
should have
game.
came back and put it.
They should have bare minimum been competitive.
This
They were
score should
not
have been
competitive.
opposite.
Yeah.
Even if it was 27-20, they should have lost within a touchdown. They should have not lost by 20. Like 3 full
It got
scores.
away
Like
from them.
yeah, it did. And sometimes on games like this where this happened to the Seahawks week 1, where it's a game you're expected to win. You're at home, you got all the juice, you look at the roster, the paper says you're supposed to win this game. And things don't go right, and it's a snowball effect. There was a lot of penalties. There was a lot of pre-snap penalties for the Jaguars at home. False starts. What are you doing in false starts at home?
Yeah,
they had like 5 or 6.
That's
like
unacceptable.
It is. At home, it's their momentum and drive killers, and it's so confusing because your crowd is quiet for you during the snap count so that you can get it off properly. So, I mean, Jaguars. I just think Doug Peterson is a hell of a head coach. He'll regroup. This squad isn't like left behind, but they're 1-2.
Yeah,
they're 1-2 right now.
Yeah.
Rough start. I still expect them to win the South. But a shout out to the young Texans. I mean, their rookie wide receiver Dell.
He's playing
Tank
really
Dell?
good.
Tank Dell is
Really
him
good.
and Shroud are just finding
From
the connection.
From Houston.
Yeah, and it's been really. If you're a Houston fan, it's nice to see the young players really show out.
Well, yeah, because you put a lot of effort into this year's draft. You brought in D'Amico Ryans. This is all about a year of finding a talent and growth. And, you're not competing for the overall championships. You just need to find the base of that roster and glue them together. Absolutely. You can learn a lot. CJ Stroud is on fucking cloud 9 right now, and you can get a young, talented quarterback rolling that will bleed into all different facets of that team. Those young receivers in Mechie and Tank Dell that we just mentioned will start to believe. Damian Pierce will get going. They have Devin Singletary. This team isn't devoid of talent. They're just very, very, very young and raw. So if you can get that momentum, man, I don't know. The Jags look bad, and I don't know. I don't think this is a telltale for the rest of the season, but it is an eye opener, big time.
Next game, Trev.
What you got, Monday?
Next game.
Ophir's going together.
Dude, this was a good game. I mean, it didn't end well for Kirk Cousinsies, but
Yeah, Chargers 28, Vikings 24. There was a point where the Vikings had a chance to win this game,
He blamed it on the crowd being
and they
too loud.
couldn't hear the play call
Correct.
because their home crowd
Was
is
too loud.
too loud. I understand you getting excited when they get the first down and they're moving downfield, but that stings a little bit.
you couldn't give them the old school, just
exactly. What?
Everybody knows that. That's shut the fuck up, fans. Gosh darn it, man.
Just an excuse you lost.
Yeah, no, I mean, which is crazy because normally Cousins is an excuse, full of excuses.
Yeah, and this is one of the few Charger comeback wins. This doesn't happen. This is usually when they
I thought Staley was gonna blow it again.
There was a chance.
It was 24-21, and I was just like, there it is.
Herbert had a hell of a game, 40 for 47, 405 and 3 touchdowns. Josh Kelly really didn't do much to help him on the ground. 11 carries, 12 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, this was
I gotta stop starting that guy.
all passing. Keenan Allen, 18 receptions,
Everywhere.
215
everywhere.
Dude,
yards.
I went against him. He had a 50 burger.
No tutties. He had 50. That must have been in a PPR
It
league or
was.
something, right?
It was.
Yeah. Because he didn't have any tutties.
Madison looked better, 20
Yeah.
carries, 93 yards. Jefferson just doing his
His Jefferson
thing,
stuff.
7
Win, lose, or
receptions,
draw. Yeah.
149 yards and a touchdown. Still good.
Had a breakaway that led to them going up 24 to 20, I believe. Yeah.
That game was up for grabs at the end.
Pick'ems. It was a great game.
as
One of the
very
better
good.
games overall. Had drama on both sides. Had good offense. Had good defense. Came down to the last possession. That was a really good game.
Dude, and I think who the Vikings have? They have another tough game next week, I believe. The Chiefs. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. They do have the Panthers before the Chiefs. Okay, so they have one.
Let's go Dalton.
game they should win.
Hey, Andy, the red rifle. Oh my God, sorry.
I always used to joke that all they had to do was put black stripes in his hair and he wouldn't have to wear a helmet out there on the Bengals. It matches. He has orange hair. It's not red, it's orange.
I always wondered, because I really liked AJ Green, and him going to that team, I was like, I think he made Dalton looked better than
100%.
he was.
Those 50-50, dude, there are so many games where he was built out. Now, Dalton also had guys like Hushmanzada and like Chad Johnson a part of his career. Like
players.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he was always one of those players I was like, oh, man, if he had a different quarterback, how good would he have been?
Oh, if Green had like a Manning or like,
somebody on that kind of
it was. There were years where AJ Green was absolutely elite with a mediocre quarterback. If he had an elite quarterback, if he had Patrick Mahomes, fuck man, that's like Larry Fitzgerald, dude. Could you imagine if that guy had like a solid quarterback the entirety of his career? Fuck.
That's another wide receiver that you always would think that about.
And he's still top 5 in receiving all time. He's got touchdowns from like 37 different dudes or some shit. I'm serious. Like, we laugh about it, but his laundry list of quarterbacks is absurd. Absurd.
Let's jump into that team, the Cardinals.
Oh, sorry, that was loud.
Getting a big ass win at home.
Dude, this was come on. Can we? I know we're drinking to the Cardinals. We're more drinking to the Cowboys losing. Okay,
smacking the Cowboys
around. Oh my God,
just
2016
beginning of the week, I remember people talking about how the Cowboys are the best team in the league.
Oh yeah, no, there was absolute a lot of smoke coming out of that Cowboys camp. We got the best defense. Like, we're good enough on offense.
Yeah, Dak was pedestrian, 249 a pick and a tutty. Pollard had 23, a buck 22, but no tutties. Gallup was 6 for 92. CD was 4 for 53.
That's better for Gallup. Gallup hasn't done much this season.
James Carter for the Cardinals is basically one touchdown, 98 yards on 14 carries. He ran hard. Joshua Dobbs, buck 89, just managing the game.
Man, I did not see this coming.
Managing the game. The kid Michael Wilson from Stanford, the rookie, he was 2 for 86, and Marquise Brown had a tutty for 5 for 61. But Connor again 2 catches for 18.
I think this is a clear case of a team. Yep. A team coming in thinking, yo, our roster is loaded. We've been rolling. We don't even think about this. This is a practice.
Yeah.
We're coming out
Dallas
here,
feeling
balls.
themselves.
And exactly. And they came into a hostile environment with a team that said, look, if you're not going to take us seriously, we're still professional athletes. These men are out here earning their keep too. They're not going to come out here and roll over to you.
Nope.
Josh Dobbs, I cannot believe, stopping in for a cup of coffee and they blew once again. It's not on him that his defense gave up fucking 31 points in the second half of that game against the Giants. As a quarterback, you can only do so much, but
that's what they are. They're just going to run the ball.
So here's the thing, though. If Arizona is that bad, they still seem chippy, right? Which is at least a giant plus.
Well, they've been in every game.
Right.
I was going to say, do you know what Micah Parsons did that game?
No. Did he do anything of relevance?
He had a sack, 5 tackles with a sack.
So, he's still the heart of that defense, and he's a great player. But, I don't know. I really think this was just them overlooking the Cardinals.
I can't really explain it.
It shouldn't have been this bad.
Football's gonna football, dude. Any given Sunday. I say this just because, as a general sports fan, I'm aware that this can happen. The Cowboys can still win a Super Bowl. This fucking Sunday it's not indicative of every other game they're going to play this year, but it definitely should let them know that nobody's invincible and that even though your roster was far, far superior, you underestimated a team in their building and you let momentum get away from you and they shut down your, all of your
just show up.
So shout out to the Cardinals, man. That is that a 12.5 point line is what that closed at, dude.
NFC West, baby.
Nasty. That's a nasty fucking division right there.
Trev, why don't you do the Chiefs and Bears so that me and Chuck can finish with our teams?
Sure. All right. So this was ugly. 41-10. And they didn't get to 10 until the fourth quarter, so those are just garbage points.
Dude, it doesn't look good either.
Oh,
It looked bad in Chicago to start the weekend. We all knew that this was gonna go this direction, right?
But it doesn't look good in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, we got to touch on it. There was talk about Fields calling out his coaches. I think that was kind of taken out of context. I don't think that was really what Fields was trying to say. But it kind of led to the belief that he would have a little bit more free range this week, and it didn't get any better. 11 for 22, 99 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
Dude, again, like when I was watching
Garbage time touchdown.
Yes.
he had like 4 fucking throws in by the second quarter or some shit.
Not competitive at all. Chicago, gosh darn it, I was high on y'all coming into this season. I thought there were some competitive pieces. Eberflus, the defense is supposed to be a strong suit. It hasn't been. Justin Fields is the main story here. He's been bad. There's no way around that.
Yeah, no, by the looks of it, him and the head coach are going to be looking for new jobs.
Yeah, I think Fields, if it stays on this arc, he's a backup starting next year, which is crazy. But the "what have you done for me lately" league will strike again. They'll say you're a runner. Maybe you could come in and work a system scheme kind of thing, but you're shooting yourself in the foot for getting more starting positions for sure.
Yeah, they're looking like one of the worst teams in the league.
And tip of the cap to the Chiefs to handling business on a team that they should have. A lot of times, we've seen, we talked about games earlier in this schedule that were the previous game, the Cowboys should have handled the Cardinals. They didn't. This is a little different of a scenario. I understand that, but what I'm just saying is it wasn't even a whiff. It wasn't even a game.
Do we want to bring up Taylor at all?
Swift.
Oh, T-Sweet's in the building.
Is it important? No.
Not
The
really
answer is
as
no.
far as sports go. But
No. Who gives a shit? Kelsey, good job. I hope you guys vibe. Congratulations. You're going to have a song written about you in 3 to 6 months. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
I think that's
Right
what
in
he's going
time.
for.
Right in time for the playoff push. You know what I'm talking about? It's all media. It's all media.
Tay.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to both of them. They're on top of their games. She just sold out the world. That Eras tour that she just ended was the highest selling tour of all time. And Kelsey is a defending Super Bowl champion. So, power couple.
I still feel like Kelsey is big swing up.
Big swing up.
He ain't that pretty. But, all right.
Chuck, you want to do your win first since you were the day and I was the night?
Sure, man. Okay, so 37-27, Seattle gets a home victory against Carolina. Okay, overall takeaways, but we'll just touch on the things that matter. We had a banged up secondary that ended up bending but not breaking. We gave up a lot of yards, but only, I believe, 2 touchdowns, 1 or 2 touchdowns. Dalton, let me verify that. Dalton ended up having a fairly good game. Kind of when it didn't matter, but we also sacked him 4 times, which is great. Yeah, he went. So he had 50. This is it. He had 58 attempts. He was 34 for 58. So they abandoned the running game pretty damn quick. Yeah, it was the most that he's ever thrown in his career. 361 and 2 tuds. Gino looked solid. He looked effective. 23 to 36 for 296, 1 tud, 1 pick. Kenny Walker was a bad man, and Zach Charbonnet ran hard. We had a couple of penalties that negated some really good Zach Charbonnet runs, but those two, when they're going to start playing off of each other, it's going to be very much speed and hack and slash with Kenny, and then just bruising. Zach Charbonnet reminds me of Marshawn, but not as agile. Marshawn had this he could float on his toes sometimes. He could bruise the fuck out of you too, and that's where the comparison comes in for me. But Marshawn could tippy tap, sidestep him. Anyway, the two of them, watch out for those two. They're gonna get going. I know that offense really likes the Geno with the DK, Tyler Lockett, and JSN. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, to be fair, has only been He has
Is
not.
that your play calling though, or I mean?
I would say he hasn't been targeted a lot. Sure.
I would say he has been targeted.
Sure.
Much.
We haven't ran anything deep for him. It's all been crosser or smoke screen. So we haven't really given him the open up the playbook style. To be fair, that's just been Lockett. We haven't really been throwing very deep. Our tight ends have been very heavily involved, which I appreciate. Colby Parkinson played very well today. Noah Fant did as well, especially with Will Dissly out. But we're very eclectic on offense, which is kind of funny because DK kind of plays the diva, and Tyler Lockett is just Mr. Consistency, right? So JSN's kind of having a hard time finding his footing there, but that run offense, we just need to run. We need to run the ball. We need to get back to what Pete Carroll does best, and those two running backs are stellar, dude. We need to ride them. That defense is going to grow together. Still missing a lot of tackles, but these last 2 weeks have been growing steps to the right direction, especially after a really, really tragic week 1 at home. I'm feeling, and we're also very hurt. We got a lot of injuries all over the field, which is unfortunate. A couple of other guys went down that were luckily able to come back into the game. But overall, it was a very feisty game for Carolina as well. To be fair, Andy Dalton didn't go. He made some good plays, man. We pulled away in the fourth quarter, but it was pretty competitive. At one point, the Panthers had the lead, and then we took it back. So there was a couple of lead changes. Love seeing a win. Love seeing a win. Good. We have a week 5 bye, which we need. Like I was just mentioning the injuries. Fuck the Panthers.
I think going forward though, Charbonnet is going to be a bigger part of that offense. That's what Pete wants to do. You've been missing that. Penny wasn't that guy.
No.
And the way Walker plays, having that other running back,
Charbonnet was so
plays.
good today. He had a couple where he got snuffed right up, right at the line of scrimmage. But anytime he got space, that first hit was a good luck, dude. He's shedding an open. He's so powerful. Trying to wrap that guy up is a tough task. So shout out.
I see that being the best version of your team. Is
I hope so.
Running backs.
I mean, it's not pretty. It's not flashy. It's not what the NFL has been leaning towards with Justin Jefferson and with Stephon Diggs and with Tyreek Hill. Oh my God, he's lighting it the fuck up. It's turned more into a passing league, so that lends to DK and to JSN. But why not play your best facet of your game? And that is our zone running scheme is so good. And Kenneth Walker is so good on his feet, dude. He can make that jump cut the best of them. Not Barry Sanders. I don't want to put him on that level, but I mean it is right. His elusiveness is so there.
Yeah. Top of the list as far as Michigan State running backs. They've had some good ones. But
sure,
he's up there.
Yeah, no, him, Le'Veon. Man, he was crapped out of the league.
So I had the Sunday night game.
And what happened there?
Raiders lost 23-18.
They lost? The Raiders?
Garoppolo
just win, baby?
Garoppolo threw 324, had 3 picks.
Two of them
were bad. Real bad.
Were bad.
Devontae had 20 targets, 13 receptions for $172 and 2 touchdowns.
Oh my God, get off me, boy.
So Devontae just shelling out like always.
Yeah.
Watt had 2 sacks. Pickett looked okay, the best game he's looked, 235. He had 2 touchdowns. Najee only had 65 on 19.
What do you think about Najee?
I was just gonna ask overall what y'all think about the Steelers, but we can.
I don't think that offense is very good. I think that the Raiders had a lot of 3 and outs that led to the defense giving up a couple of those. But and the picks don't help. But I don't think
never
the
been
Steelers
high
are
on
very good.
Najee. I've never been high. He's always a grinded out 3.6, 3.7 yards, but he's not explosive.
He's been lackluster from the draft.
He gets the 1,000 yards, but he gets it on 1,000,005 touches. He's the only back they've had since they've drafted him.
The offensive line is definitely part of that,
Yep.
but
They're not very
I kind of expect more. He seems slow.
He should be a game breaker, and sometimes he gets caught in the open field. Sometimes he dances too much. Stick your foot in the ground and go north and south, man. Like, I know I'm just a bum sitting on a chair talking about sports here, but, like, Najee, if you don't pass the eye test, dude, like, go north and south. You dance a lot behind you, and it's not even like you're patient. You're jittery, and you're still just not getting it. Whatever. The idea is that I've never thought he's...
Yeah, trust your vision and, don't hesitate. It seems like that's what he's doing right now.
And okay, so after this game, the Steelers do move to 2-1, but the loss that they took was an absolute drubbing opening week at home, and then their second week they won against a Cleveland team that they turned over and
Twice.
got right. So, I mean,
14
I'm
points
not
off.
sold on this Steelers
I don't
team.
think their offenses look very good.
I don't think it has at all, and I think that
And
it's
the Raiders
gonna come
helped them
down.
out with a couple penalties that helped out with some.
I'm middle of the pack for the Steelers, even though
Their
they're 2-1
defense
kind
looks
of thing.
their defense looks really good, but their offense is not good.
Pickett, he's another one of those quarterbacks that you want to see him take the next step, and he hasn't yet, and that could cost him his job if it doesn't get any better.
Well, there's the review of NFL Week 3. We're going to touch on some NFL Week 4.
Yeah, we'll come back from the break and hit you up with some what spreads are and who's matching up.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back. Let's jump into what Week 4 matchups we have. Chuck, why don't you start off with our
Week
Thursday
4
night?
preview, man. Thursday. This is a good one considering the way that this Sunday went down. It's the Lions at the Packers with the Lions laying 2 here. Going on the road.
Both 2-1.
Correct. Yes. A different story tells the 2-1 for Detroit versus Green Bay. Green Bay would had to have said it has the easier schedule so far, but they came back and beat the Saints by a point. A win's a win's a win. Jordan Love has looked good. Overall, I like this matchup. It should be fun. It's a rivalry to the bone. Both teams can play well. Can also stutter. This is a good matchup. I really like this for Thursday.
Should be a good Thursday night game.
Agreed.
That'd be fun to watch.
If you were a betting man, would you take Detroit laying 2 here?
I don't know. I'm kind of.
I wouldn't touch this game either.
I wouldn't touch it anyway, but I've kind of been more on the Packers bandwagon than you guys have. Out of us, but I don't really want to touch this game.
Their injuries would make a difference in which way.
Sure. There's a lot of those.
Yeah, because Aaron Jones, Christian Watson play that could very easily
Swing a couple of points a different way for sure.
Montgomery too, getting him back for Detroit, I think is pretty.
His quad injury, right? Okay. So what's up? Next up, money is
the old international game.
International,
That's right.
Yes, Falcons, Jags playing in the UK.
So the Jags are just like Britain's team, right? They've done this.
Adopted.
They do this every once a year.
They have
now.
2 this year.
They have 2 out.
So I mean,
They have 1 in Germany.
Or the other one's in Germany.
I think so.
Oh, they're playing both international sites.
Yep.
Wow. Why would you do that, NFL?
Spread right now is Jacksonville by 3. Is the early line at least. I expect a lot of people to be down on the Falcons after that performance.
I can understand why you'd be down on the Jags.
Jaguars still, haven't been impressive. I still think they're gonna click sooner than the Falcons, though.
I do too. It's a weird game because it's like overseas and stuff, so it's another one that I don't really want to touch if I was betting, just because it's overseas and
I think it's gonna be ugly.
both teams didn't really play well this week,
Agreed.
so it's a rough game. I expect the Jags to come out and win, but I also expect the Jags to come out and fucking smack the Texans around. They didn't do that, so
True.
This is a coin flip, really, dude. It really depends on how it breaks. If it turns into a shootout, it favors Jacksonville. If it's down in the trenches, it favors Atlanta. So, I wouldn't touch this one either.
next game is probably the game of the week.
Flex this. This should be the Sunday nighter.
Dolphins at Bills. Buffalo's giving 2.5. This is easily the best defense that Dolphins are going to have seen at this point in time. So it'll be interesting to see what they do against this defense. Against that defensive line how well the Dolphins are able to run against the defensive line like the Bills, and if they're able to protect Tua in this game. Also, this is a big game for the Bills also to just kind of stay fast in your division, stay ahead of everybody else. Like, you're been the division winner for a while now. Like, this is the game to stay on top. Dolphins are coming in undefeated, and you have a loss.
And yeah, as far as the early season look, I mean, if we were doing power rankings, I think the Dolphins would be ahead. So I don't know, maybe that might be a game I play. This parlay.
We'll Dolphins covering the 2.5.
Yeah, just the way that
I think they're gonna win that game outright. I think they're gonna go into assuming
they gotta win by a field goal.
Assuming that they're not gonna have. Well, no, if Miami wins, then
yeah, Miami wins.
Then yeah. So
that's true.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win outright. I think that Miami is a hotter team. I think that they have they get the ball out in 2.23 seconds is Tua's average release time. So I don't care how fast your defensive line is. If that's your average release time, that means he also has throws under that, like some over. But like, I think that they have figured out a scheme that works for Tua. They have an insane amount of talent on the offensive end. That defense is good enough. Like, if the Bills can keep up firepower wise. So it's not to say that if some turnovers come into play, things can get affected very quickly. But I take Miami's been on a heater. I don't see any reason why they stop. It's early in the season enough, so it's not going to be snow. It's not going to be 3 feet of snow in Buffalo. Like, it should be it's a morning game. It should be a reasonable weather game for Miami to go up there and be successful still. Like I said, turnovers, penalties, some stupid shit. It's division games, so they know each other very well.
Definitely looking forward to that one.
Great matchup, though. Great matchup.
Next matchup's the worst.
Oh my God, I don't even want to touch on this one, you guys. So I drafted Justin Fields in my one fantasy league thinking that this is the year. He's been running, he's been making growth as a passer. He's got DJ Moore, Darryl Mooney, they paid Cole Kmet, so they saw something in him. Like, this was supposed to be the year, right? They did lose David Montgomery, obviously, in the running game, but like, they had Khalil Herbert. Anyway, they've been basura. They've been trash. Real bad. Them versus one of the other 0-3 teams. Let's ride. Denver Broncos and the Sean Paytons.
Somebody's got to get a win.
That's a dumpster fire there too. Who gets the win? So the line is Denver -3 on the road. So they're laying 3 going into Chicago.
Denver probably gets the win. Dude, the Bears looked
they're worse.
Awful.
So
they looked worse.
There are at least drives where you look at the Broncos and you're like, oh wow, that's football. There's been not one good drive by Chicago all year, I don't think.
Yeah,
even their scoring drives has just been in garbage time. They've never been in a game. At least Denver is like mildly competitive.
Correct.
Like,
yeah,
whew, that's a shit house game right there, NFL. I'm sorry for that matchup. Yeah, Broncos are probably gonna. I don't know if they cover the 3, but sure they win, right?
Yeah, I think that Trev's got the game Trev's gonna talk about. It's gonna be like a headbanger.
Yeah, division matchup, early season lead for the division in the Ravens and Browns.
I think Lamar bounces back, dude. I don't know if Deshaun plays well again, that could be a
Cleveland's defense is fucking
for
legit.
For real. Agreed.
They're gonna we'll see. This is gonna be a very good game too.
Cleveland starts at -2 as far as the line goes.
Sure. So, home favorite. So, but I don't know, man. I think the Ravens can come. I think the Ravens win. I think the Ravens. I think Jim Harbaugh is not gonna like what just happened this week, and he's gonna come back and stick it.
It's definitely another good game on the schedule. It's got to be up there as one of the top games.
Yeah, I probably would stay away from this game just with the Browns defense.
Understand.
The way that they're playing, it makes me hesitant to place that bet.
Okay.
I got a barn burner of a game. I had the Steelers versus the Texans. The
These are
Steelers still haven't shown me anything in 2-1 as anything offensively. Defensively, they're really good. Offensively, they aren't very good. It does not look good offensively.
No, they've been stagnant, and Houston beating Jacksonville. It was a shocker, yes, but it still doesn't tell me what I want to know about the Texans yet, right? Like, I think both of these teams are uncertain of each other.
Yeah, there's no line right now in this game because obviously the Steelers just finished, but it's not a game I'm tuning in to watch. I'll tell you that.
I'm a little interested to see if C.J. Stroud can continue his play.
He did have a very good game today.
I know the Steelers will be the best defense that he's faced as of yet. So, I mean, this could be good as far as growth for the Texans. I probably lean Steelers a little bit, not knowing the line, but we'll see what that is.
Fair enough. On to the next. This one's all me here.
This is a better.
Why do I line up with the 0-3s?
This is a better 0-3.
This is better 0-3, yeah.
Well, because one team.
I still think the Panthers are better than the other. I'd rather watch the Panthers than the Bears
Broncos
or Broncos.
That is true. So it's Vikings visiting the Panthers. And there's no opening line here. I'd imagine it's probably somewhere around a pick'ems.
If Young's
I might
back.
even say that the Vikings might even have like a 2.
Dude, okay, so I know the Seattle secondary isn't something to write home about yards-wise or anything, but Dalton came in for one game and threw for over 100 more yards than Bryce did in their first 2 games, like, along with multiple touchdowns.
I feel like this is a game the Vikings should win, and if they somehow lose this game, then I think you just have to move Cousins.
Dude, if they lose this game, the sky is falling and it's time to push the panic button in Minnesota. Like, Downing was higher on him. It's because the pieces looked good. I told you that defense, though, was not good.
But they haven't been doing anything very offensively. It's not like they've been.
That is true too. They've been around the 24. They've been getting yards, but not in the end zone.
Yeah, they haven't been getting blown out.
Yards, but not points.
They just they've been losing every game by like a possession. Like
right. It's coming. It's returning to the average.
You kind of wonder if that divides the locker room when you have one side of the team playing well and the rest of the team playing like crap.
You know, the next game is interesting for the fact that if Anthony Richardson plays, the Colts are 2-1, but then the Rams could be 2-1 too.
I think the Rams take this game
on Monday night.
I think
on Monday night or this game right here.
Sunday
both.
Yeah,
I hate to be high on the Rams, but goddamn, dude, everything I've seen from them has shown me talent across the board so far. There's no namers on that defense, but they're not giving up anything. That Stafford has been clean. Like, McVay is a good enough coach. I don't know, man. Especially against the Colts team. Like, I picked the Colts to hold serve against the Ravens. I didn't think that they were going to win, but I thought they were going to cover the spread, and they did both. But I think the Rams, Aaron Donald healthy is still just a game wrecker. Show me somebody who can block that man on a consistent basis.
I mean, the Colts have been surprising, though.
I don't disagree with that. What do you think the line goes to? What do you think it opens at?
I think it depends. It depends what happens with the game, right? If the Rams come out,
that's
true.
That is true. If they dominate the Bengals, the line does look different than if they just barely beat them and or lose.
Yeah, so I think that a lot is going to happen with Monday night.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm kind of with you though. I think they should win tomorrow, and I would expect this to be maybe a touchdown.
Is Burrow's not going to play, right? Has it been designated yet? Is it still true game time or like?
I thought so.
So even if he does play, you're smelling blood in the water. At this point, you need to sit him.
Aaron Donald's coming straight up the middle. All day long.
You got to put somebody on the field who can at least move a little. Like Burrow's, it's in his leg. Don't do it, Cincy. Don't do it. Aaron Donald is a beast coming from a Seahawk fan, man.
Cost you Super Bowl already. Don't let him cost you anymore. That's true. This is the Super Bowl rematch. That's right. Good call. All right, moving on to the next game. Got the Bucks and the Saints.
So
a lot depends on this. What happens Monday night and what happens with D-Car's shoulders.
Yeah, how bad is that shoulder? Is he coming back? Is it Winston? I expect Winston to look better if he's got a whole week of practice. And then we still got to see what the Buccaneers look like tomorrow.
I was going to say, do we give the Bucks any shot in Philly? It's in Philly.
Or in New Orleans?
No, I'm saying.
Tonight.
Is tomorrow night? Tomorrow night is it in Philly or is it? I'm sorry, I don't let me misspeak.
I think it is.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, it's in Tampa Bay.
It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa. Okay, so
I still don't know if I give them a shot. We'll see. The defense has been playing really good for the Bucks. In this game, it's going to be about depending on who starts your quarterback for the Saints. And, the Saints' defense still has been playing good even today. They only give up 18 points. They've been playing really well, so the Saints' defense is on fire.
They do come out with a line of the Saints -3 already, though.
Which is weird.
I think that's a big line, not knowing who the quarterback's going to be for the Saints.
I do too.
That makes a big difference in
100%.
how I like that game.
Oh, yeah, dude. Jameis is a fucking pick machine. Like, the guy can light it up, but he's a turnover. Now, to be fair, Carr he's looked mediocre this year. Hasn't been.
They had a lot of injuries in that backfield too this year.
That's been every game I've watched. There have been substantial injuries.
The offensive line hasn't been very good. Talking about the Saints, it seems like they got a lot of pressure.
No offensive line seems to be doing that great these days. Like,
my early lead in there is kind of with the Bucks if the New Orleans gives them 3. But I mean, I guess we'll see.
I'm very curious to see what they do. They could be Washington, a completely fraudulent 2-0, and they get absolutely waxed by Philly.
Talk about Washington. That's the next game. They're going up against the Eagles next week.
Oh my lord!
That's a 7-point game right now. Eagles are at home. I don't expect that. I expect that line to go up.
I like the Eagles to cover a 7.
I expect that line to go
right out of the gates.
I expect that line to go up.
Right, in the Washington's favor, you're going to get more points.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where public perception. I guess it really depends on.
It's going to what happens tomorrow night because if Eagles come out and stomp the Bucks, people are going to fucking throw money at that 7. If Eagles come out and struggle, be like, man, they don't really score that much.
Which is funny.
It's been a slow start.
7's hard to get to.
Week bias, dude, for sure.
That's
a good line. That's a good line.
How bad are the Commanders really?
Correct.
It's just a bad game for Howell.
Sam Howell. I thought I was a little higher on him, and he's.
But week 2 he looked good. Week 3 he looked like
one
shit.
Game,
so
I know, but 4 picks, man.
That is real bad.
It's real bad. Thank you. It's real bad.
Next game on the list, Chaz.
Oh, dude, we got the Bengals and the Titans.
That's a weird line.
It's -1.5 for the Titans just because they're at home. This is a pick'ems, dude. It's because the health of Burrow is going to keep the lines different. Who's their backup in Cincinnati?
Browning?
No, is it really? Is it Jake Browning? Is that my boy? Let's go Dogs. I think it's Jake Browning. Did he make? Yeah, because he was playing the preseason with Cincy. Did he make that roster? Okay, so. Listen, Jake Browning. All right, so we're going for this. We're gonna do this. All right, like you're clearly the backup. Joe Burrow's a fucking fantastic quarterback, and you'll just be the bridge guy. But put some good shit on tape. Put some good shit on tape.
Yeah, time to shine.
Yeah, absolutely. Bengals and Titans. It's weird, man. It's AFC. I get that. I don't like either of the. If Joe Burrow's not healthy, I don't like the Bengals, and I don't like anything the Titans have put on film this year just yet. There's no explosion. It's just old dudes not getting it done now. They need to change. I give it to the Bengals just because the roster is built probably better overall.
Yeah, I still like a hobbled Burrow over the Titans.
Come on, Browning. Let's go, Browning.
It is. I looked it up. Good call.
And is he gonna play? It's still not decided.
He's
though.
questionable. Still shows Burrow.
We're still waiting to see. Other game, Patriots Cowboys. Cowboys are 7-point favorites. And
even with the waxing in Arizona, that does make sense.
Yeah,
but the Patriots defense. My argument there would be the Patriots defense is
very well
yes. I have a hard time at 7.
Yes, I'm with you there.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one with 1,000 foot.
I like the Patriots with the points. I think they can make it a close game. I think the Cowboys come out and, show that the Cardinal game was them actually just overlooking that team.
They're going to have to.
There's no way they look that bad against the
public
Patriots.
Perception over this next week for
Mike McCarthy's gonna need a bag of dicks this next week.
it's gonna be such a roller coaster ride for fans, for like anybody, media outlet, like good, bad, blah blah blah. Like this is the kind of shit that makes you question so many things, right? Like even on a day, you've watched your team and you're better than the other roster, and you stumble through a game and you still get the win, right? You've seen that.
I've seen it plenty of times.
That's not even what came close to even.
I don't see it very much.
They didn't even stumble to. There was at no point they led this game. They didn't have a lead. The Cardinals wired this game.
Yeah, it came out up 10-0, boom, up 17-0.
It was fucking crazy, dude.
Cowboys didn't show up. They were somewhere else.
They sure the hell were.
So the Sunday night game is the Chiefs and the Jets.
No thanks.
9 points in New York. Chiefs got a 9-point favorite.
It's only 9.
It's
only 9.
it's not gonna be a good game most likely.
Zach Wilson is
Trash.
Like, this is the biggest spread of the week, and I don't think it's big enough.
Like last week, we saw 12.5 points.
We haven't touched on the Niners spread. That opening spread is by far.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, we didn't get to that yet.
Circle back to that.
We'll just hit that one next because there's not much to talk about in the Chiefs-Jets game.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with your take though, Money, with it being -9, even if it's in the Meadowlands. That's still that doesn't scare Patrick Mahomes.
Multiple double-digit
Mahomes
spreads
did get hurt, right?
They say he's fine.
Okay.
He did roll his ankle a little bit. I saw it.
He does. Yeah, he does that all the time.
And he got to take some of the game off too.
Over in
the half.
It is insane to think outside of Kelsey, the cast of characters they have.
Everybody touches the ball.
Because they don't. That scheme is just ridiculous. And Mahomes is just, his arm talent is insane.
He hits like
He's so good.
He hits like 16 different receivers every game.
He's so good, dude, and it makes me mad.
Spread the love.
So let's hit Niners cards.
And then I'll do my Raider game, and then Chuck
I got
can
the
finish it.
Monday nighter.
So yes, the biggest spread of the week: Niners, Cardinals.
It's because the
14
cards
points.
are coming to you as well, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it's in Santa Clara. The Niners.
So you said 14 points?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind the Niners win this game. But the Cardinals have showed me something. I think they could keep it close.
They've been in every game.
It's a division game. They're a scrappy team.
Scrappy.
Like 14 is a lot.
It's a lot of points.
Did you ride the bus here? Did you drive yourself here? Clearly, it was the best entry speech of all time. Gannon's got him, on the up and up. Except for they blew a 28-point lead. No big deal. You should roll that game. There should be more of CMC, more of Debo. Ayuk should come back, right? Maybe, give or take.
Yeah, I don't expect the Niners to take off a game like the Cowboys just did. I think they're more.
This is division. No, this is division.
Yeah, it's
too.
divisional
You
game.
can't overlook division.
It's not going to be a game.
There's not. You don't make it as a coach in this league if you do not win your divisional matchups. That is pretty much the overwhelming arc of how it goes. 14 is a hell of a line. You bet it.
I try and stay away from betting on my team because I wonder how much of that's heart and how much of that's head.
Sure.
And that's why I haven't done it too much on the pod, even though I've kicked myself the
We
last
covered it.
couple
We
weeks.
We talked about it this Thursday. We should have gone with it. It would have covered. Covered by a mile.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me still wants to bet my team is like, yeah, we're not going to be the Cowboys. We saw what just happened to them, and we're going to show we are not them.
Right. Divisional opponent, though, you think?
I'm hesitant. Again, that's a game I stay away from just because of how scrappy the Cardinals are.
And it's 14 points.
It's so big.
Yeah.
Because you always get some shitty ass touchdown at the end of the game that cuts it to fucking 9. and you're like, dude, you turd.
That back
Yeah,
door
it could
cover,
be
you
the
turd.
backdoor cover.
I got the Chargers this week in
Coming off a
LA.
big win.
So yeah, both 1 and 2. I expect to be probably 1 and 3 after this week. I don't know. Like our defense looks okay. It's the offense. Garoppolo, you can't throw 3 picks, and somehow we got to find a running game. It's been non-existent.
Where you been at, Jacobs?
I think they find it though against the Chargers the way that defense played. The only concern would just be Herbert just throwing all over you.
He's
Yeah.
gonna sling that rock,
He threw up for 405 day.
If
No Eckler again.
if that score explodes on one side heavy early on, that could put the game away. Otherwise, I don't know. It could be a good game.
I think start looking for a new coach there, Las Vegas.
All right.
All right, Monday night game, Charlie.
I don't know how we swung this as a Monday nighter, but Seahawks traveling way across the country to New Jersey, to be exact, to go play the Giants in the Meadowlands. Line opens up at a road favorite at -1.5 for the Hawks. You just touched on the point of not betting on your team, heart versus head. I think both of mine line up with us being able to cover 1.5, 2 points.
It's a trap
in New York. It is. I don't disagree. That's a very good
A
terminology
Monday
for
night game across the
anybody who
country.
doesn't know what a trap game is. It's exactly what the Cowboys just ran into. The game you're supposed to win, the game everybody's already penciled you in to take a W by 10, 15, 20, a million points, whatever. Like,
You're crossing
and
the
you come out and
country,
you lay a dud, dude.
Crossing the country.
We
you
have
got
all
injuries.
watched our teams do that at some point in the season, and luckily it's early, so trap games can, set a thought process in order, or kind of make you recalculate what you got going on. We had that week 1. We had a big old smack in the mouth week 1 from Seattle, and we've come out the last 2 weeks and played better. I expect it. I would bet this. I think we're going to beat the Giants, and I think we're going to beat them in a handle like manner. Not maybe 10 points even, kind of thing. I think it's going to be a full score plus kind of thing. I really do. I'm just high right now because of the 2 weeks, in a row, and going into Detroit and then handling business today. Even though we gave up a decent amount of yards, we didn't give up a lot of super, super big plays. DJ Chark played out of his mind. Like, he had some great catches today for his first active game as a Panther. He was insane. But go Hawks, baby. I think we cover the 1.5. That's my take.
Awesome. So that's our week 4 coming up. Recap? No, really
No,
recap.
man. Preview.
Take a look. Well, there are some games that the numbers need to move on.
Let us know
so-
what you guys got going
Yeah.
on. Where your parlays fall. We definitely have some decisions to make because we ate a big old bag on this
hot
week's.
and
We're fizzling, so
Yeah.
we gotta regroup.
And this week, we'll see what happens, but we'll let you know. We'll show you the picks.
Sweet. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna have our wonderful classic fandom section and a little bit of common sense for you.
See you in a minute. All right, welcome back to Balls and Brews. We're going to jump right into common sense and then jump into our fandom. This week's common sense: Brewers JC Majaya suspended 162 games
I.e. a full season.
for PED test. Basically, that means he tested positive twice now. First time's 80, second time's 162. Dude, you're right in the middle of a fucking playoff run.
yeah,
Do they
and-
sit him immediately? Does that constitute like it starts right now? That's not the start of the next season or
Nope,
whatever.
it starts tomorrow or
next game.
Yep.
Yeah, and with them cracking down so hard on that, it's really kind of dumbfounding. Like how
How do you miss? How do you not know what's not growing in your body? What do you like? Or if you're doing it, why are you doing it?
During the middle of the season, if there's one time you don't do it's during the middle of the active season. What are you doing? Or I won't get tested. Like,
no.
you're gonna get tested. You
The only time you really even would consider, I think, doing that is coming back from an injury, and that's it.
deal with it if they get you for that. But otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's just like, come on, man. You know, you gotta know what's going in your body. Like we said, did you do it on purpose? You did. Well,
yes.
You're fucking
I'm 98% convinced that they do know. They do know. That's the thing. They just got caught. You only feel remorseful when you have to, because when it's working, it's working. And when you get caught up in them lies and all that bullshit and it sweeps back to you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my fans. I'm sorry to my family. You weren't sorry when you were geeking up and getting good results. Like,
so this says that he's been on the injured list with right shoulder inflammation since
so there you go.
15th.
So there's your argument right here.
He was transferred to the 60-day DL on September 11th.
I know.
See, and that I know, you know, they're not. Of course, they're against the rules, but that kind of makes sense to me. If you're
Trying
gonna
to get back.
yeah, if any time it could possibly be allowed while you're not playing, trying to come back from injury would make sense to me.
Because that's when Andy Pettit did it.
But I mean, yeah, you're still gonna get caught. Got caught.
The lines aren't blurred. That's the thing. There are yay substances and no substances. And especially when they're like, when there's the trace amounts that they say found of this, which is found in a food, which is found in a whatever. No, we're talking about this guy got actually popped with a full amount of PEDs in his system. It wasn't like some trace this, I ate a burrito that had the wrong something. No, this was enough to say, look, dude, you've already been popped once, so you're not gonna have the benefit of the doubt. You're gonna get the book. So,
yeah, the one pop after that,
athletes, I get wanting the competitive advantage. I get pushing it to the limit. Like it makes for the best you can possibly be for your career and potentially earnings and stats and all that kind of thing. I'm not condoning it, but god damn it, dude, if you're gonna break the law, know the law, know when to use it and how to use it, and when it's half-life in your body. This kid's dumb.
All right, good way to wrap that up.
It's dumb.
Fandom?
Let's jump into it.
We all are bringing a little bit of some disdain for the fandom. This is another salty fandom, I would say, overall. I'll go ahead and leave. We'll just go left to right here.
Sure.
And my fandom, or my complaint, my rant, if you will, this week is how we are Seahawk fans. My family and I are Seahawk fans living here in Reno. So we only get national broadcast games if they're the prime timers, or if we're pretty much playing the Raiders or the Niners. Maybe sometimes the Rams will squeeze into the local market depending on when the Niners play on that Sunday kind of thing. But we don't get to see the other matchups when we play Atlanta, or when we play like Carolina today, or some random NFC team, or even a random AFC team. We're not going to make the local broadcast around here. So we had to pitch for the NFL Sunday ticket, which is clearly aptly named, and it bothers the shit out of me that it's not just the NFL ticket, because you still have your regional broadcast blacked out and you don't get primetime games. You pay $400 for this service for 18 weeks and you don't get all that it has to offer, even though it's recorded every
even though
game.
it's available.
Why not?
This is caveman. This is Geico caveman. What are we doing? We can, if you want to watch a game, we can show you that game, but we're not going to.
But I'm paying the premium that you ask out of me, but I can't access this game because I'm supposed to have NBC on another platform, because I'm supposed to be going through my local cable company. No, I pay you NFL directly, no third party. This is to your pockets, and I can't get the game. Like, it is trash. That I love the update to the YouTube TV and the quad box. Oh, dude, they do this fucking quad box thing now where you can have 4 live games and you just have like the border around the one that like does the volume or like the audio. It is. And then if you want to select into that game, it's just a simple push of a button. That update is phenomenal. But as far as the ability to access all games, there should be no wavering. It is a premium price that I myself and a lot of people fucking pay every game, every time. Like, this blackout bullshit has got to go.
Yeah, you want to be more successful and make more money, why don't you do that? It seems so obvious.
Well, I guess because what the contracts would say, it spurs more money for like cable if you have to watch it through Charter or whatever versus like I guess streaming through there.
You're paying for a premium service.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. I'm already putting the money in your pocket. NFL, like it's beyond, reprehension right there. That's terrible. So my fandom is yes, you've cornered the market and. Yes, I love that quad box, but overall, it
still
suffers.
Screwing it up.
Yeah, and that last 10 to 15% matters the fucking absolute most. It really does.
All right, let's move it along. I'll get into my fandom. This was something that we have talked about in earlier pods, where we were talking about a possible relegation, how we thought that could make sense for college football.
Yeah, whispers.
There's been a proposal made by the 2 teams left in the Pac-12, Oregon State and Washington State.
The 2 Pac.
Yes, the 2 Pac-12 teams. If that makes any sense. About a merger with the Mountain West and them having a Division A and B, which relegation would be involved in and who is in each division. It's just a proposal right now. Probably nothing will come of it, but we like this idea.
Because if you look at where they're trying to do this, it makes a lot of sense. It's right there in those middle teams that when some play well, should play up. And then when some play down, they should play out. But it shouldn't mean that the badass mofos in this middle league never have a chance to get to the big dogs, right? The Boise States that have been on runs in the middle of, WACs and Mountain Wests.
Exactly.
Finally how Utah had to jump, but they're hot now. They came from the Mountain West. Like, absolutely. The UCFs who are getting a shot in the Big 12, correct?
Because,
Fresno State this year is number 25.
So there's these programs that need to be more viable and visible in the upper middle because they can make noise, and if you give them the ability to move up, what do you think that does for recruiting, for the conferences that they do play in? Like this sounds like a wonderful idea for that section of football. The SEC won't relegate.
No,
the SEC, you know what I mean?
That's not needed. But in the idea that what this could be, I think
the American Conference is another one that I think that could play very well within that, right? Like for sure.
I mean, even maybe the ACC and Big 12. We'll see how those conferences go in the coming seasons.
The Big 12 is going to be hurting, dude. They really are. They got a lot of teams, but not a lot of talent. Like the ACC will still be fine with obviously Florida State's taking a step forward. Miami looks fucking good. We didn't touch on
another
that.
win.
We didn't. Yeah, they spanked Temple. We didn't touch on that at all. So I think that Miami. Yeah, but that Miami team's starting to make some noise. Clemson obviously isn't as bad. I think they could have won that game against Florida State, but they aren't as bad as that opening week, loss. But either way, we'll see what happens. But that middle would be awesome for that, right? Like, God, that'd be good.
Yeah, and I think that would add a dynamic to the sport that
it would light a fire under so many asses.
Yes, exactly.
Nebraska relegated immediately. That team has been riding the past for 30 years. Golly, man, that is once again, it's kind of a pipe dream. It's not one that I think will ever truly pick up steam, but it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, so my fandom this week talking about relegation would be the Wolfpack would be relegated down to some other fucking division because they're so bad this year. All my teams kind of suck, so I'm here to bitch about sucking teams. Even though I'm still wearing their colors. Nevada blue.
Tell them how you feel, Downey. Let it out.
Raiders
Let it out.
too. But yeah, no, like it's just been bad right now. Raiders aren't very good. Nevada's not good. But it would be like if we were relegating, Nevada would be lowered into like the FCS or something.
Yeah, well, see, but here's the thing: like you have to in relegation. It's not just per season. They've
been bad 2 years in a row. They got
back to back.
Nevada's got the longest losing streak in the nation.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
been
let
bad
you know.
since Cap, really.
Well, no, we were good with Carson Strong.
Carson Strong, yes, okay.
Yeah,
It's been those last 2 years have been really bad.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll see, but I don't see it getting any better.
Man, that's upsetting.
Yeah, they're just not good.
You could be a Husky fan. Oh, too late for you. Let's go Penix.
We don't want to be a Husky fan.
That's the good team that we have to cheer for, man.
Yes.
That's the only team right now for you.
Yeah, SC.
Well, I mean, as far as football goes. We'll
as
get
far as football goes.
basketball,
Hockey.
Dude, okay, well, I guess, coming up, basketball's not, but neither of those sports are too far off. They do, like, October.
Yeah,
They'll be next month.
They start getting their training.
Oh, yeah, no, October, November, December is the best sports months in the year, you guys. We're coming up to some thickums content, like...
So that's what makes the fall season so great.
No, for sure. We're this is amazing right here with the college and the NFL, no doubt. And MLB coming to like a very fucking hot conclusion. It's gonna be great watching those races end out, and then the playoffs are gonna be
And
fun.
that shit's coming up this week. Keep your eye on like every MLB game now is huge, especially for those teams that are
8 games left.
A game back, a game forward. It could, you lose like Chuck got swept this week, and that killed him. He keeps up, you got to turn that shit around and keep going. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Look at our little college football thing we talked about today. There's more games. What was there, 6? 6 games we gave you to look out for ranked team-wise.
The NFL's still in full chug, man. So,
Yeah, and I'm thinking we bounce back on these parlays, too.
We're gonna have to.
This was our only rough week.
We're gonna have to give a shout out to when we come together and we get the full lines. And we'll upload them to Instagram. So make sure you follow us, Buzzsprout. Give us a like, comment, subscribe on that YouTube, Spotify as well. Make sure you look at the X for the beers that we had tonight. These were both very good. Easy Drinker and that juicy hazy had us, man. What a strange beer.
It was
very
strange.
very good though. So thanks for hanging out with us, man. Until next week.
See y'all.
See ya.